Hey everyone, how's everyone doing? Mike here, Analog Tack. I'm super excited today. I've been looking forward to making this video ever since Greg suggested it. So the day has finally come. We're going to do a deep dive into legendary Japanese metal punk pioneers, Gastunk. And when I say deep dive, Greg, we're going to go pretty deep, right? As we did with Chelsea, maybe even deeper with Gastunk, and I can't wait to see what you've got to say. It's going to be a super fun time, and I hope everyone enjoys watching this as much as we are going to enjoy doing it. It's going to be a great time. Greg, I assume everybody who's here watching this knows who Gastunk are, but for anybody who doesn't, I'll just read out your little like intro that you wrote about them. So Gastunk were an influential and pioneering band within the 80s Japanese underground, initially debuting as a hardcore punk band. Gastunk's skilled members were always one step ahead of their contemporaries, blurring genre lines and exploring a variety of styles and sounds: heavy metal, progressive rock, 8-minute ballads, goth, reggae, and everything in between. So we've got so much to get into, even more than we did in the Chelsea video. So Greg, shall we get started? Are you ready? Are you ready to do this?
So yeah, I think with the Chelsea video, we did basically everything that existed.
Right.
But with this, there's so much comically more, and we're not even going to do 80% of it, I think, because there's just so much. But I absolutely love this band. And if you knew me when I was a kid, this band was basically my entire personality for a couple of years. Like when I discovered them, it just changed me completely, because I was always into, which I know I've said a couple of times on various recordings we've done, I've always been into bands that blur genres and sort of evolve as time goes on. That's just always been interesting to me, no matter who it is. And I just cannot believe, over the span of like 4 years or whatever, this band, it feels like they had a 20-year-long discography with like all of this growth, and but it happened in such a short period of time. And no matter what mood you're in, there is some Gastunk something or ex-member project that you could listen to that fills the mood that you want. And yeah, it's just, I was thinking about this because sometimes people ask me like, oh, what's one of your favorite bands? Which Gastunk happens to be my number 3 favorite band, but my number 1 favorite Japanese band. And people will ask me like, oh, what do they like? And there's no way to answer that question.
I mean, this is the thing. They're like, you can't put them in a box. They're not a hardcore punk band, even though they were in the hardcore punk scene. They're a one of a kind, unique band.
You know, I saw a documentary on the Jam, and there was some little thing where the song Down in the Tube Station at Midnight came out, and some journalist or whatever had said, you know what that sound is? That's the sound of the Jam. And when I think of whatever it is that Gastunk does, it's not heavy metal, it's not visual K, it's not hardcore punk, it's just Gastunk. If you hear like, Moonchild or even Dead Song or whatever, it's just so them. You have to hear this band to really get it. And it's not for everyone. I know that.
We'll get into that a little bit.
Yeah.
I've got some sort of things to talk about that side of things. But shall we start at the beginning?
So I thought it would be interesting. So they form in January 1983. And at this point, which we're going to cover just for a little bit, like all of these different bands are in flux. Members are moving everywhere constantly until things kind of finally settle.
Right.
And I believe Gastunk debuted February 1983 with their first live show, which had Baby on vocals and bass, Naoki on guitar, and then Matsumura on drums.
I forgot about Naoki being in Gastunk. Yeah.
Yeah, so he wrote, and we'll get to this, but he wrote Geronimo.
Yes, yeah.
Which he originally called Julia. But I think most people don't realize that Gastunk is Baby's band. So if you're not familiar with the band, Baby is the bassist. And I think our story kind of starts when the Execute let me rephrase that. When he leaves the Execute.
Okay.
So that happens. Execute released their legendary flexi, which he did the cover illustration for. And if you've ever seen, any other Gastunk illustration, it's the same art style. So he leaves and leaves Execute to create Gastunk. And the origin of the name, because I actually asked him, I met him once and we had a decent conversation.
Oh, beautiful.
At the time, he lived next to like a huge gas tank facility in his town. And so that's what he wanted to call the band. And someone, although he can't remember who, suggested the U would be more punk than the A. And so it's like punk gas tank is gas tank.
That's amazing. I just thought it was one of those quite common like Japanese phonetic kind of errors, from the pronunciation.
So, yeah, they started as gas tank, and then oddly enough, which we'll get to, they ended as gas tank. For different reasons, I guess. Wow. But yeah, it sounded punk to be Gastunk, and well, who could blame them? And before I think talking about how this really is Baby's band, he started it, he's always been the leader of the band, although if you look at the band, you would think Baki or Tatsu, it would be their band, right, because of how loud and proud and, they really are the focal point.
Yes,
But let me ask you this. Who is your number one punk bassist? I'm putting you on the spot, but in the whole world of punk, which however far you want to stretch it, is there a bassist that you think of where you think they're just great?
I think my answer might not be the answer you're looking for, and I don't even actually like.
That's okay.
I can't actually even remember the guy's name. It's the dude from RKL who plays on like Rock and Roll Nightmare.
Okay.
That is the answer that came into my head when you asked me that. Now, if I go and think about it, I'll probably come up with a different answer. But
no, I know I'm putting you on the spot, and I sort of already mentioned them, which I didn't expect to. But my pick would be Bruce Foxton from the Jam.
Nice.
As the most brilliant bass playing I heard in punk, or something punk adjacent, however you want to define them, that nobody was doing in the 70s or early 80s, from what I can hear, the way he was. And later on, maybe you could look at Rancid with Matt Freeman as like completely insane punk bass playing. But Baby is one of the best bassists I've ever heard in underground music. And if you're not paying super close attention to Gastunk, you might, because it's so easy to get lost in Baki and Tatsu with the vocals and guitar. Baby is the whole backbone. What he's doing, absolutely nobody did in the Japanese punk scene. It's really, and he did it early. And we'll get to it.
Yeah. Right. All right. Yeah.
So I think there are a couple of interesting things I wanted to start with that lead us into where we are, and we'll go somewhat quickly through it.
Okay.
So I got really into collecting magazines in general, and I think actually something interesting to show, although this is kind of like we're skipping ahead too far, I got really lucky with a couple of things on eBay when I was a kid, and I got this Rockin' F issue with Baki on the cover, and this is sort of towards the end of their run. This is in 1988, August, so almost at the very end. And like, I didn't know much about anything, but let me tell you, like, opening this up and seeing these guys, I was just like, what? This is the coolest thing ever, because a lot of it is just generic hardcore punk, but then you see them, and I just thought, okay, yeah, this is where I want to be, and I want to play a White Flying V because of people like Tatsu and Chelsea. But just to see something like this and to see how big they were, it was so interesting that they were on the cover of this magazine.
Right.
But we're at the humble beginnings stage, and so this is a cool magazine from 1983 called Pinhead. It's sort of like a sort of analysis on the Japanese underground at the time, different like fashion and subcultures and things like that. And there's a lot of really cool art and design with it. But so I got this book for a variety of reasons, actually. But something that I noticed when going through it for the umpteenth time is that it actually shows Tatsu.
Oh, wow.
That guy closer to this finger.
Yeah.
as a kid in 1983, and it says, he was a young guitarist. It doesn't affiliate him with any band, and I think this might predate Dead Cops. But
Okay.
so it just kind of shows like, hey, Tatsu's like in the scene.
Yeah,
He's around and he's hanging out, and you can like see him in different magazines and whatnot. And the same for this magazine from 1982, which has a ton of huge color photography in it. Has some pictures of Baby.
Oh, wow.
I'm having a hard time showing this, but these are the pictures of Baby over here. But this must be when he was in Execute, because this is in 82.
Right.
So again, just kind of like the scene is being covered and they're around. You can see random pictures of these guys just like existing. They haven't all found each other yet,
Right.
and they're all in different groups. So we've got, of course, what's left of the Execute. So Baki, the vocalist of Gastunk, is still the vocalist of the Execute. And because Baby, who was playing bass, left, now Baki is also playing bass.
Yeah.
You can see some of the characters. But yeah, this is just phenomenal hardcore punk. And one other thing with the Execute, Criminal Flowers, which this single, the A side, Baki is showing like wild foreshadowing of where he was going to go, because this is really no longer hardcore punk. This is like gothic, melancholic. It's like a 7-minute track of Baki crooning and showing his range. But this is like, 84.
Yeah, that single really threw me. I got it on a tape, obviously back in probably like 85, whenever it came out, 86. And that was like, man, I've not heard a punk band like playing a song like this, like ever.
No, I know. Because the Execute is like, everything's as fast, hardcore, crazy as possible in the early days. But then it just showed like something was in Baki, because I think a lot of people might think, well, that happened later in Gastunk, which it did, but he just had some sort of like deeper emotional musicianship in him. But all of this, so Gastunk's been created, but none of the members have really found each other yet, because Baki's still in Execute. And I love this, by the way, which might be a controversial take. I actually do. But Tatsu, young Tatsu, who is pictured in that pinhead, he's still in Dead Cops.
Yeah, with Roger Armstrong.
What?
With Roger Armstrong, right?
Yeah, with Roger on vocals,
Yeah.
Who later played drums for Sick, rest in peace.
Yeah.
Passed away tragically recently.
Yes.
And pictured here is Jaja from Lip Cream on bass. Yeah. And here's Red Rum, who was a Korean drummer. So this is kind of like an international band. Oh. But so Tatsu is like really raw on this, but has one gigantic solo. I could talk about this all day, by the way. I'm not going to get into the whole how you can't hear the drums, and it's just hilarious. But Tatsu shows he's got some chops, but this is like generic, like almost American sounding hardcore. And Tatsu makes a couple of pit stops. He like plays on this for 2 seconds.
Yes.
And Tatsu seems to know, is very well connected, right? He's playing on a lot of different releases. So he appears on this Nurse EP.
Yeah.
But eventually everyone kind of fits together. So let's talk about the members, right? So Baby starts the band, and Matsumura, who came over from the Cums, he's the drummer. And they both started the band together.
Right, okay.
And then Yutaka was their first vocalist, who appears on this 8-inch.
I forgot about that thing.
Yeah. And this has Tatsu on it. And so it's the 3, core members of Gastunk with a different vocalist. Baki's still with the Execute, but Gastunk is a band. And you can kind of see that they were Gas Tank.
There you go.
But this U is like digitally added or painted on or something, so that really was there. So I think they were Gas Tank and then became Gastunk over the course of this. Don't quote me on that, but seems reasonable.
Yeah.
These are just average songs. The band's still figuring themselves out, and Yutaka's a average punk vocalist.
Yeah. Did he go on to do anything else? Do we know that?
I don't believe so, but I believe he was the bassist for Dead Cops, and Tatsu brought him over.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
And so, kind of interesting. Yeah, I think people from Dead Cops and the Comes were kind of like forming into Gastunk. You know, Naoki and Matsumura were in the Comes and then came over. But then this was just a pit stop before Naoki went on to Lip Cream. So again, there's like what I was saying in the beginning, there's so much movement between different members in these bands. And things are still taking form before finally everything settles. And then all of these bands had, you know, historic careers from there. So yeah, it's all fine and dandy, all these different moving parts until Baki and Baby do reunite. And now we can finally have something of substance to talk about.
Yes.
The Dogma single, Devil and Sex and Shout. Oh my goodness. Well, I've been saying a lot, so Mike, why don't you?
Well, okay, I'm not gonna like go like review like every single, but what I want to say about this single in particular is everyone talks about like the A side, but to me, like Shout is like the sleeper hit of this single, and it's kind of like, yeah, definitely one of those songs that was absolutely an influence on a lot of the things that we talked about in our last video.
My God. Yeah. So I keep, you know, we mentioned how ahead of his time Chelsea was, but I mean, this is actually like so supremely ahead of its time that,
right.
So there's absolutely nothing like this yet in Japanese punk, really.
This is, I was going to save this until later, but we'll do it now. You cannot hear influences from anything in this band. It's like, where does this music come from? There's no like UK hardcore. There's no like Discharge or anything in there. There's no US hardcore in there. There's no like obvious like heavy metal in there, although it is, you know, nothing. Like it's just completely like fully formed, like right out of the gate. And
so it's interesting because so Matsumura is a very good drummer, but you know, it's fine drumming and he does a good job.
Right.
But the other three members, so Tatsu went from a moderate guitarist in Dead Cops who had one really big solo he played his heart on, and it's okay, but it's not that creative or technically proficient, to superhuman creative, amazing for this. I mean, Devil really has a format that is not in punk at this time. There is not I know Randy Uchida was a huge influence for him, but Randy didn't even have anything like this in his playing, and there was no bass virtuosity at all, because these songs really, Baby is like doing things that hadn't been heard yet by anyone, and he wasn't doing it with the Execute either. So It seems like there was a little bit of downtime, and Baby and Tatsu became the most skilled musicians at the time, really. And you know, Baki's range and all that he can do, it's all on display here right off the bat. Just Devil's such an interesting track, and I agree, Shout is definitely a sleeper because the other two went on to be infamous, and Shout is kind of like but yeah, this is one where if you've listened to this to just like rock out, you know, which is great because I certainly have for many years, but this might be a good one to re-listen to because this is February 1985, which is really early in this scene. To listen to the bass playing in particular and just how much is going on with the guitar in Devil. I mean, you've got like a gigantic intro riff that then repeats a second time with a solo, and there's so much before Baki even appears.
I know, right?
You know, and then you're taken to another level when you hear his shrieking, and it's like,
is this song like the start of the sort of the Japanese hardcore trope of like having a real like slow burning like anthemic like rocker to start off a live show, you know, when the singer comes out from the back of the stage and makes his entrance, you know, and then the second song is a faster song, but like that, you know, that opening like slower song building the atmosphere and the tension, that song's got to be like a huge influence on that kind of thing, right? It has to be.
We're going to talk more about this for sure, but again, I was really trying to think if there would be anything like this. beforehand that there could have been something drawn from, right? Because Jism did a whole lot of interesting things. There's nothing quite like this. And it's just so early that we're thinking, okay, so what happened in 83 or 84 that would have inspired this? I don't know. Yeah, I think this might have set the stage for that kind of sound.
I mean, the riff is kind of a hard rocking riff, kind of, right? In a way.
It is. It's hard rocking, kind of heavy metal, but it's also groovy and like, it's just interesting. And then the bass intro for Sex, the second track, and then so ding 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 ding. But then once the guitar kicks in, he's like boom, he changes the bass line to something even crazier. And sometimes it's almost hard to even pay attention to the guitar because Baby is playing so many notes so quickly and can get on the really high notes fast. And again, there's absolutely, I don't need to double check. There isn't anyone doing that in this scene. And he wasn't doing it with the Execute. So again, just kind of something that got born from nothing, and it was sort of like secret. And then they revealed it to the world. I have one more pit stop.
Okay.
Because these guys were all over the place, and Tatsu knew everyone, and he was just in this for 2 seconds. This is April 1985, so this is just 2 months after the Dogma single was released. And kind of interesting, I talked about a lot this with Chelsea, but a lot of these songs are in major keys. And Tatsu, first time you're hearing him dabble with something a little more melodic and upbeat. And we don't need to get too much into this, but this is a Gas 12-inch EP that they're still kind of trying to figure out band members, and Tatsu just plays on these 4 tracks, and it's outstanding and just worth talking about for a second.
It's killer, yeah.
But now we have to get into the heaviest of heavyweights because it's August 1985, and I mean this will be probably the biggest talk of the whole thing. So I got lucky again on eBay like 20 years ago and actually got this signed copy from Japan.
Nice. Obviously, the Dogma pressing we're looking at.
Right, it's the Dogma pressing. It comes with a poster. Might as well show it. That I don't know if I've ever seen anywhere. It was an advertisement for Dead Song.
Oh wow! Oh ho ho ho! No, I've never seen this.
And I've never really seen their logo stylized like that either. So that was kind of like a design that didn't last very long, but super cool.
So cool.
Totally. I had no idea. I mean, I didn't even realize how like interesting this was, because sometimes you're like early, this might have been like 2004, 5, 6. And
I will say, Greg, there's only one record or one LP in my entire collection that I have 3 different pressings of. And of course, it's this. So, I've got the Love Records.
You can't have enough of this one.
The Love Records. And of course, you need a copy of Dead Song with an Obi. And of course, if you want that, you have to get the Vice Records.
The Obi's awesome.
Yeah. It's nice. It could have been. It's a good Obi. It fits in beautifully.
Let's just take 2 seconds to talk about how Baby, the bassist, is the one doing these ink illustrations. By the way.
Yeah.
And he did it for the Execute Flexi.
Right? And these drawings too, right?
Boy, I don't think so, but maybe if he had this in him, that would really be incredible. I could have sworn this back stuff was drawn by someone else.
I think so, actually. Yeah, it's Jimmy Morita.
Okay, yeah, sleeve design, right? Okay,
yeah.
But it's incredible. You see the whole band, and they've got everything. I mean, Matsumura is like literally holding the toms of his drum set.
It's kind of similar to like the Gizm one, right? Kind of.
It is. You can tell. I mean, it's on Dogma too. And
right.
They wouldn't last on Dogma for long, so they were banned from Doll magazine.
Oh, really? Interesting.
Yeah. So I don't know what happened, but they left Dogma. And if you check all of the dolls from the 80s, they're not in there. And boy, they would be, because they were in Fool's Mate every other issue.
Yeah.
So another interesting thing. By the way, I'm very bad at pointing. So the Kill was a nickname for Matsumura, the drummer, at the beginning.
Okay.
Which I've seen sometimes listed, and I thought Kill might be a different member, but it was just his nickname.
Okay.
Anyway, we have a lot to talk about with this. Masterpiece? Question mark.
Masterpiece.
Yeah.
I mean, top 10, top 5 Japanese. I'm going to call it hardcore punk just for the sake of, you know,
It is. I mean,
convenience. But yeah, I've always had this near the top of my all-time Japanese hardcore records. Sometimes to sort of some, yeah, I know. They're just an interesting band. Like, not everybody is on board with them.
no, but this is usually what I hear from you know, questionable critics would be like, I like the first single and the first album.
Yes,
and then they lose me. But
yeah.
I once made a comment to you maybe 10 years ago that Gastunk only gets better with age, and I stand by that. Okay, so I have one other question for you with this before I give my thought. Do you have a favorite song on this?
Yes, and it's a song that back in the day, like when I got that tape that I mentioned in the tape trading days, and I got the first 7-inch and another 7-inch that we haven't got to yet, but we'll talk about the version of this song on this record. All of my punk and hardcore friends who were kind of listening to my tapes that I'd gotten in the mail were, you know, all about Gizm, and you know, they execute, and they loved this record until they heard this song, and they were like, no, this is like a kind of a bridge too far. What the hell is this? I hate it. It's Fastest Dream.
Oh, really? Okay, that's not what I thought you'd said.
Okay,
but,
okay. And that is one of those songs where baby's bass playing, just like bubbling. But I think for people, like the vocal delivery in that song is just like, it's so far removed from hardcore that it was just too much for people. For me, I think like that Enka style vocal from Baki is just like what makes. There's a lot of things that make it special, but that vocal performance on Fastest Dream in the verses just hits me right here. I love it so much.
I agree. It's a wonderful song, and it shows their range, and it kind of shows that. I think I read in an interview recently, well, a couple of things, that one of the mindsets was, let's do whatever we want. Like, let's all bring something to the table that we want to do, and there won't be any, like, you know, pigeonholing or labeling or whatever. And this is a good example of that, because this is absolutely a hardcore punk record.
It's hard to pick a favorite song, Greg, because it's like a body of work, you know. It's like everything gels and flows.
It does. This is a real nice
flow. It's like the sequencing is of this
we don't need to get into too much with it, but I will say my favorite song is track 4, Taiji, Sad.
Nice.
I love this because Baby has a gigantic bass solo / interlude in the middle, and it's very long and kind of strange, and you kind of really get lost in the groove of it. And then it just goes back into the song, and you think that's kind of all you're getting for the solo. And then Tatsu comes in with his own solo again later. And I wish they did more of this, because it doesn't appear anywhere in the entire discography. This is the only time you hear both Baby and Tatsu get their own solo, substantially, at least. And, you know, I talked about this a lot with Chelsea, and Tatsu does it, although not as much, but Tatsu's quite adept at overriding himself with harmonies and picking the right time to do it, and mostly with his time with Gastunk, but a little bit later as well. And he has we all know the solo to The Eyes, which I think is objectively the best song on this.
That's a great song. Yeah, I'd already heard that on the Farewell to Arms. I think I can't remember the time.
We'll get to that in 2 seconds.
Yes, yes. I just can't remember the timeline of which version I heard first, but yeah, incredible song, incredible. Yeah.
We also talked about with Chelsea how much time a musician gets allotted to do their thing, because if you have 8 measures to do a solo, well, you have to make those 8 count. It goes very quickly. The Eyes is like 40 or 44 measures long. And that is so much longer than anyone was getting for anything at this time. And he makes every moment count. It's just amazing. And I think something worth mentioning, by the way, with Baki's look because I read this in an interview recently, that he wanted to mix Captain Sensible from The Damned with the overall look of Kiss.
Interesting.
That's what this is. That was said in, I think, a Zero magazine pretty recently.
Wow.
And I just thought, okay, because the Baki look, again, is pretty avant-garde and kind of seems like his own thing. So like a little The Damned, a little Kiss.
I kind of had always thought like you know, like alien sex fiend, or like UK like first wave goth kind of thing as well. Greg, we've got to talk about Mokushiroku, the opener. One of the best opening songs of any record in the history of recorded music. The atmosphere it builds. And we've seen, like, you know, probably people have seen these, like the live videos that are on YouTube that anyone can sort of have access to now. Man, it's so powerful.
It's intense. And, you know, I say this affectionately because I don't mean this in a negative way. It's monotonous in the fact that you're waiting so long for something to happen, and you don't know what you're in for, really. Like, I'm trying to put myself in the mindset of, like, I'm buying this record in 1985. I don't know anything. And that's the first track. And I'm certainly not prepared for Warbird. You know, that's not leading me up for that.
Right. And it just gradually builds and builds. It's like perfect sequencing on side A. But man, you know, like people fucking always go on about, oh, how fucking crazy and weird and, you know, blah 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 Gizm work. But this is on a par with that. Like, you know,
it is. It's
right?
just, I think, missing the eccentricity of Sakevi and the crazy art and everything. I think there was a lot that went into that, but it's similarly.
But you know, when Baki comes in with his like sort of it's like fucking spooky, like, you know, that's like Sakevi level fucking weirdness for me.
I know. I like vocalists with a lot of range and surprises, which is why I love HR from Bad Brains. And this is not that different. I mean, you get a lot of different Baki, you know, from Warbird to Dead Song to Mokushiroku, right? They're all kind of their own. They're all kind of their own, like, different playground for him to explore, with Fastest Dream obviously being.
Man, that I love. Were you surprised when I said Fastest Dream? Not really, or just a little bit?
I was.
Okay.
I think I didn't expect that to be the one people would be shocked by, but you think that's also your favorite too, you're saying?
It's my favorite. I just love that song so much. It's just, it really touches me. It's like, it's so emotional. The feeling it conveys.
You know, without Baby on bass, what would that song even be?
Right.
The Eyes is another good one where you can't even hear the guitar in the mix. It's just like bass the entire time. And I got no complaints about that. I'm the biggest Baby fan in the world, but this might be a good chance to talk about Tatsu's guitar playing.
Yes.
So I thought I would do a demonstration.
What's going on here? Whoa.
Of some of the things that make Tatsu special. So Tatsu is just absolutely a technical monster right off the bat. Well, sort of. He kind of really isn't in Dead Cops, but then as soon as Gastunk debuts, he's just kind of as good as anything could be. And I wanted to talk about the title track, Dead Song, because, you know, we could talk about Fastest Dream and Mokushiroku and Warbird and those songs, but there are like derivatives of that maybe somewhere. But there's absolutely nothing like Dead Song at all. And one of the things I wanted to point out about it, right, we can hear sort of, there's a melodic softness that just isn't there. And a lot of people had messaged me with the Chelsea video saying, like, we wish that, you know, you would have explained a little bit more, or maybe you think we know some of the terms, but we don't quite. So I just wanted to break down a couple of concepts for basic guitar playing and like how Tatsu takes it to another level right out of the gate. Because this is just August 85, right? So Dead Song has two chords that it plays between for the most part of the song. It's a G and an F. And if we were just playing those two notes, that would just simply be a G and an F. And most punk guitarists would play a G5 and an F5. We've all heard that sound before, right? So those are called power chords. But Tatsu is adding in all of the extra beautiful embellishments and additions to those notes. So if we hear that, right? And that's just a G minor now. He's added in something to give a little bit of flavor. And then this would be an F major. But he doesn't stop there, because he adds in what's called the add 9 on top of that. So it's a G minor add 9. Right? And you can hear that note is really beautiful and tense. And this is kind of an unusual thing for a teenager playing punk rock to be doing. Where did it come from?
Where did it come from, Greg? Where does it come? Is it like from like just like 70s, like Led Zeppelin and like, you know, like...
Sure, this is very like Intro to Stairway to Heaven for 1 second, and then it quickly leaves that.
Right.
But, you know, so how it works basically is he's picking in a tone that he wants to add that's within the scale. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and then that tone gets added in. And he does the same for the F, where he'll make it an F add 9 as well. But then he adds in the sus4. And you can hear that. That sound is so beautiful. Which is just kind of like a really beautiful intro to something.
It's incredible, yeah.
And he would add in this slow two-handed tapping. And I say slow because usually when you would see, and Tatsu did a lot of tapping, when you would see tapping, it would be that fast kind of thing that you would see in a solo for a moment. But Tatsu always had a way of finding just this little slow thing that he would add. And later on in the live show, he would add those little extra touches that were so beautiful. And another thing with his playing in Dead Song, so generally it would just be like a basic pentatonic lick that would be something like this, like, right? That would be like a normal way of playing. But Tatsu's riff for this, hitting that note.
Greg, there was something I was going to actually mention later, but I'll bring it up now. I think every now and again, it doesn't happen often, but every now and again, like Tatsu will do something that's like bluesy, and I don't think it works. The way you've demonstrated the difference right there illustrates that like perfectly. Like just when it happens a bit later on in their career, and I don't think like blues rock or bluesy riffs like work at all.
Right. He has a very interesting mix of styles and things he can do. But what was so interesting to me as a punk guitarist is how is he knowing to add in that tone, or even being so courageous to add in, you know, that sort of interesting suspended sound. But then for this, you know, the average guitarist would just be going like, that would be like a very normal sound. But for him to hit that diatonic note, a non-pentatonic note, right? And then it would go into, and then would go into something different. And I want to just mention one other thing that he does, because I mentioned so many different tropes with Chelsea. Tatsu really likes to find an iconic line by playing arpeggios over it, and kind of always does the same thing over and over. But if he was doing a normal arpeggio, it would kind of sound like this. But what he likes to do for the solo in Dead Song is he adds in a little tense note beforehand. And then it's all of a sudden iconic. And we can recognize it right away. It has some iconic quality to it because of that repeated nature. Right? And the whole thing too. And it's just the same idea every time, da-na-na-na, da-na-na-na, but he keeps following a pattern doing it. And it's just really interesting to hear, I don't know, the things that make Tatsu kind of happening right off the bat and then continuing on and on. But so the things for me are a lot of interesting note choices that break the basic pattern. Most people would be playing, but he's going to make it, and then he's going to make it.
I love that. I love that. That right there. I love it.
So pretty, right?
Yeah.
To have that. And then after he hits this chord, which is just what he does on the album. But
what's that? Again, that's another thing that I absolutely love. That thing that you just did there.
This thing here?
That.
It's just letting a clean, beautiful chord ring out, but it just doesn't happen a whole lot in this genre of music, or at least not at this time. Because like if you look at X, eventually this is a huge backbone of what they're doing. But again, this is just predating everything, and it's just one track, right? He didn't do this anywhere else. This is not found in Interloper, for example, but he just has this one track where it's so melodic and interesting. And I'm just the biggest Tatsu fan in the world, and learned a lot from watching him and pretending I could do what he could do.
But man, I've only seen Gastunk once. We'll talk about that later. But I saw grown men weep when that intro starts playing.
It's crazy. And you know, one more thing before I put this down, he could do everything. And I don't know exactly where he was getting it this early. But he was tapping, he was doing like very fast runs throughout all the strings, hammer-ons and pull-offs with that. And one of the things is something that I never saw anyone else do in this scene at this point is sweep picking. So you can't really see my right hand, but you can see my right hand is just raking up and down. And, you know, he would do this like in little forms like that, but also very big things like that. And I watched as his career went on, he's sometimes doing very fast, like picking or hammer-on lines, but then he, in the live show, would change it to be two-handed tapping, and then maybe instead of doing two-handed tapping, he would be, you know, doing sweeping instead. And he could so freely go between all of these really complicated techniques. I feel like a lot of pressure even trying to imitate it right now, but for him on stage, he's like, you know, just tearing through everything and switching whatever he wants to do interchangeably. He's never doing what's on the album. I mean, he's like 19 years old. It was just incredible. That's all I wanted to say.
I've been listening to Gastunk with different ears ever since you mentioned what you mentioned in our last video. Go and check out our last video about Chelsea when you kind of mentioned Tatsu. And I knew he was a great guitar player, but man, I've really been listening to Gastunk with like different ears, like since the stuff that you talked about last time.
Well, and they're very different. You know, they don't have a whole lot in common outside of being great. Their techniques, their sensibilities, it's all different. But I did want to just mention that because I think Tatsu is about as skilled as a guitarist could reasonably be, and just incredible. So let's move on to, almost 1986. So it's December 1985, and it's your name today, Mr.
It is me. It is my name. Yeah.
This is their first, I wouldn't say it's their first, but not counting the Dogma single, it's their first, but it's not on Dogma.
Right.
And, Mr. Gajime, In the Fire, and Birth of Stars, and just their super iconic names. I just love seeing all of their names stacked up together. It's like, they're like an idol group.
I'm going to do the same thing as I did with the first 7-inch, and I'm going to just say 3 words: Birth of Stars.
Ooh, it's amazing, right?
That's like just one of those fucking Gastunk ones, anthems that's just like,
it is. Let's Get to Light Too.
Yes. Fuck.
So the other 2 songs are quite nice, but I get excited to hear the Birth of Stars every single time, and I never want it to end. I want that chanting chorus to go on. So creative though, this one, and it just shows. It shows they're going to be, you know, a monster band.
The title track. Actually, I was like looking at some comments on YouTube, and people are like Japanese people are like really like saying like what an amazing song the title track is, and I think it's a good song. But like I was kind of surprised by that. I really like In the Fire. It's like
In the Fire is interesting. We're going to revisit that one later. But yeah, I think the title track is very good, but it's actually one I forget about quite often.
Right?
I don't quite even remember it exists. And then when I hear the opening riff, I'm like, oh, I know this, but what is it?
I had to revisit it actually last night just to refresh my memory, because like Birth of Stars is like etched in my brain, but the other 2 tracks, not so much, to be honest.
Yeah. But again, another, for me, 10 out of 10 singles, just outstanding. But now we have entered 1986 and we're in March, and we've got, look at the presentation. I mean, you know. This is just as cool as anything could be. I mean, and this is like, unless things have really changed in today's economy, this is like a borderline free record. I mean, you could get this for nothing. This is like,
well, I mean, it's more expensive. But it's still a cheap. It's still a cheap record. I mean, I don't know how many.
I remember it being like $10.
Yeah, it used to be like that.
Maybe that's a long time ago. But this is, to me, this is like, I don't know, just as good as anything could be. This is probably my favorite iteration of Gastunk, the two songs on here.
Geronimo is phenomenal. I actually didn't used to like it, and then one day it kind of clicked with me, and especially after seeing them play it live as well. It's quite something. But
oh yeah, no, Geronimo is a powerhouse. But
and
again, we had mentioned this was written by Naoki, and
exactly,
all if you hear like an early recording of when Naoki was playing this song, it's pretty much the same thing.
Great. So where can we hear a version of Geronimo?
There's like live bootlegs that have been passed around.
Really?
I'm sure one of them's on YouTube, but it is possible to hear.
Interesting. Okay.
I have heard it before.
Okay. Wow.
And almost all the sensibilities are the same except for the solo. And again, worth mentioning here, this is like really early. Tatsu's like 20 years old, and he's playing an acoustic guitar in a hardcore punk band and playing like absolutely beautiful, chilling, just, you know, I don't know, like, again, it's going to be hard to put it into words.
You know, they have that like slogan, like heartful melody, which, you know, back in there, it's like, what a sort of funny little like slogan. But I get it, man. It is. That's exactly what these songs are.
It's heartful melody, baby.
It is. I mean, it really is.
And I just want to say about Red Indians Rock. This is a personal favorite of mine. Definitely a top 5 Gastunk song for me. I love guitar leads that get revisited later identically, and he has a really beautiful harmonized guitar lead in this that towards the end, just when you think the song is ending, he revisits it, and it's just such a nice tying everything together. I think this is like some of the smartest songwriting they had, and it's really nice to pair the two very different songs together. One of my all-time favorite singles is, like, irrespective of band, definitely top 5.
I'm just gonna this is sort of my representation of all this stuff.
Early singles.
I think this is the first version of it, though. I think
the paper jacket
with the textured paper jacket. But Greg, why isn't the first single on here?
Because I think of the Dogma thing.
That's it. Thanks for answering that. That's why
I think so. And I think that's probably what inspired the two fans thing that we'll get to in a minute.
Yeah, nice. Exactly.
It's
so frustrating, though, because you just want it to be on here, right? But it isn't.
It is. And because of that, I didn't actually hear the Dogma single for a long time.
Oh.
Not a long time, but like longer than it should have been, because I did have the early single CD. And also, I just didn't really know. I mean, I realized it goes in chronological order, but I didn't know where the songs divided, or I didn't really know a whole lot about it at the time. So sort of tying into the Dogma thing, I wanted to take a break here to show these fanzines for Gastunk that were out in 1986. And I think this was, I'm just making this up so someone could tell me I'm wrong, sir, but kind of a response to not being in DAL. So they made their own fanzine, which was called City Gas Communications, or Toshi Gasu Sukoku.
This is the first time I'm hearing about this.
So this is issues 1, 2, and 3. And it's really cool. I mean, it's just like a for the fans thing of, it's all Gastunk related. You can see Mr. Gasm's on sale. Matsumura interview right here. There's a couple of cool things in here, like just a collage of live photos and just more interviews and information about the gigs coming up and things like that. But it sort of got a little more interesting as it went on. You can see drawings of all the band members. I mean, they really are like superheroes at this point.
That's amazing. I never knew about this. Man, that's amazing.
And I think it's the sub name for this is also Moku Shiroku, but you can see,
which means apocalypse, by the way, for anyone who doesn't speak Japanese. Apocalypse.
Tatsu interview, and there's one thing that's kind of really cool in this. Let me show you. So I think they're asking you to print your own live, or dub your own live cassettes, and these are things you could cut out and use as the J card.
Amazing.
Kind of cool. So there's one of each
DIY.
member.
DIY punk.
Very, very DIY. I don't know. I just thought it was kind of a cool. So like, Gastunk information coming up. The Heartful Melodies tour is happening, and so it's not just like a fanzine. It's just literally nothing but Gastunk from top to bottom. And to me, it sort of has to be somewhat related to the fact that they weren't being covered as they would have liked to be. But kind of cool. Here's our three main protagonists. White Fine Vinyl, I can never get enough of it. But yeah, they look so cool here. I mean, it's just awesome. Okay, so this leads us to, well, you brought it up, so we'll talk about it for a minute. The Farewell to Arms compilation.
So in Europe, we got this, and it was amazing because you could buy it in a high street record shop, which was amazing back then.
That's crazy,
right?
Honestly, that was just a readily available thing.
Back then, I never knew there was like a Japanese. I just thought it was like, man, Nuclear Blast Records have got these Japanese hardcore punk bands. How do they do it? It was like that Virus comp, and also like Thrash Till Death too. Those kind of comps were all like similar in the fact that you could just like walk into a high street record store and pick them up. I've got the red one too, but
it's all, they both look great for different. I like both versions. Right. I just like that you actually could get that so easily and hear like authentic Japanese punk.
I just bought mine in like the HMV in the small town I was living in at the time.
Worth mentioning, they re-record the eyes here.
Yep.
And it's a great version. It's got a little bit more Baby does a little bit more in this maybe, but the real thing that I find interesting is Baki has like a call and response vocal thing where it's like and it's like much better. It's such a cool thing. And yeah, this is worth hearing that version of the eyes for that. But it has Alpha in 201, which is like a total hardcore punk Gastunk song that appeared nowhere else and they never played live.
Right. I also love the fact that they're still like 100% in the hardcore scene, but like just sounding like nobody else. Lip cream
for now.
For now,
they're still in the hardcore scene for now.
Yes. And you got, it's funny that, you have the Execute on here too, right? Which is pretty interesting that they both appeared.
It is just like when, like Poison Arts would be with Deathside, like worlds collide.
Exactly.
So that was April 86, and now it's just May 86 because they're just spitting out material, and we have the Vanishing Signs 1 and 2. This is like a reissue.
Hang on. Let's get this.
We got it. This is a good picture. Why not?
This is much better. This is fucking iconic. This photo, it's kind of, I don't know, it's a great photo, but
this became iconic whether I liked it or not, if you know what I mean. But like this is like pure Gastunk.
Yeah, right. Yeah,
And again, another baby illustration.
Yeah, clear vinyl. Greg, do you have the shopping bag?
Oh yeah,
you do.
I do. I just like took everything to the bare minimum because I have way too much stuff ever.
I used to have a copy of the shopping bag. The shopping bag, the copy that I have now doesn't have the shopping bag, and I need a copy with the shopping bag. So yeah.
So I think I know. There's the shopping bag for this one, but also the one for Under the Sun.
Yes.
Right. Yeah. No, I've got the bags. How could I not have the bag?
So I don't want to like talk about any specific song on this record in particular. I just want to say that this is the atmosphere on this record it's fucking like it's just like a perfect like metal punk record. I know there's something special about like the way it's recorded. It's just basically perfect. It's a perfect like 12-inch EP.
It's crazy. Yeah.
It's a classic.
So the Vanishing Signs is my favorite Gastunk song.
Nice.
But not because of this album.
Okay. Okay.
Cliffhanger.
Okay.
But the Vanishing Signs is amazing. It's just how unique. And again, kind of like Down in the Tube Station at Midnight being like 100% Bruce Foxton's bass in the jam. This is a baby bass song. It's just his bass carrying the whole thing, and the other members like come and go as they want.
Right.
But it's his bass the whole time, and it's just again very unique for punk in general, but certainly for this scene, I feel. And I do want to mention one song on this, which is A Holy Land, which I think is the most underrated Gastunk song because I've never seen it mentioned with any acclaim. But I think it's everyone is sort of at their peak in this one. And again, Tatsu has a really big solo in this that he repeats over Baki's vocals or under them at the end. So you get that same repeating guitar solo thing that was happening in Red Indians Rock that I love.
Right.
And it's just chilling, beautiful, weird. I think I'm going to say a lot of songs are my favorite with this, so I should actually probably finalize it. But if Holy Land definitely has to be top 10, I think it's.
I just like the whole thing. It's like Dead Song too. It's really hard to pick a favorite, and there's just a certain atmosphere on this record. I know it's incredible.
I will be angry at myself if I don't mention In Exchange for Your Mind, because this is like, you want to talk about Mocha Shiroko being like dragged out and monotonous. This song never goes anywhere except for the middle, which has the most blisteringly beautiful acoustic guitar solo. Again, I said Chelsea was doing this and I was like, saying it's quite unique. This is predating all of that. Right. It's a lot more intense and melodic. I don't know. If you just heard the guitar interlude in the middle of In Exchange for Your Mind, you would have no idea you're in a hardcore punk record. Right. It's not even possible. It's so beautiful and incredible. And again, we talked about with Chelsea, young genius versus old master. Tatsu's just straight up young genius. I mean, this is someone who did everything on earth before he was 22. Incredible.
Yeah, amazing.
Okay, so July and September 1986. This is one of the few I kept in the sleeves because they just don't read without a white backing board. I don't even know what I'm looking at. I mean, but these were the two Fans EPs, one of the only ones I have the vinyl for with me here for this. And they had just two different versions for two different tours, or one was tour only, one was then later in the stores. I think this is the first one.
Yes, I think yes, the purple one is the first one. Yeah.
But so anyway, this has re-recordings of Devil and Sex, and they're great.
Yes.
They're debatably better than the Dogma version. I don't know. They're punchier.
Yes, I think I kind of alluded to it. I think this was like the first Gastunk that I heard on a tape. I think so. This 7-inch.
That's cool. That's a great place to start. I actually don't remember what my first was, and that's too bad. But I wouldn't be surprised if it was Devil and Sex, because you just see. I really love the one-word titles: Gastunk, Devil, Sex. Okay, I'll check it out. And you must be thrilled that for the B-side they did Fastest Dream.
Man. Okay, Greg. I remember. I think I heard this the year it came out, and I read a review of it in a British fanzine.
Oh my God.
The fanzine was called Future Now, and it was a fanzine that was made by Calv, the bass player from Heresy, and another guy called Trevor. And because Calv was kind of ahead of the curve with trading with Japanese hardcore punks and labels, so he had all of these records and he was reviewing them in this fanzine. And I remember him just like, most of the review was about like the packaging and how the hell does a hardcore punk band like have a record that's packaged like this? And he just kind of said, yeah, it's like re-recordings of you know, Devil, and then like a re-recording of Fastest Dream from the album. Yeah, but I do remember that review, and again, I've already said it, but like all my friends could not deal with Fastest Dream. It was like it was just too much.
So interesting. Yeah, I don't know.
I was like, come on, it's aren't you touched by the melodies in this song?
Touched by the melodies, I agree. Of course, we were just having a conversation about jazz before we started recording. So
Right.
it's like,
but yeah, maybe it's because I did come from like a heavy metal background, but I don't hear heavy metal when I hear that song. It's just fucking, it's like, I didn't even know about traditional Japanese music. I didn't know anything about encore or anything. But when I heard that song, I was like, man, this sounds like I imagine Japan or old Japan to be.
That's interesting.
Yeah, I immediately thought that as like a 20-year-old.
It's interesting for me to think because you're 19 at the time.
Yeah.
So, you know, just you're it's like total imagination of this wild thing.
Imagination. I had no idea.
I love that though. You want to know a fun fact that you're going to think I'm making up? This was the B-side to this was originally supposed to be Taiji Sad. But they switched it to Fastest Dream. Yeah, wow. So that would have been my pick for favorite, but we instead got yours. So either way, one of us got our favorite track re-recorded.
Did Tatsu tell you that?
No, that's actually in, I believe, A Fool's Mate. The first advertisement for this ever said it would be Devil Sex and Taiji Sad. And then the next one, they changed it to Fastest Dream, which obviously it was. So I guess they did both. Maybe we'll hear it one day.
Taiji means fetus, by the way, for anyone watching. Man, Greg, I used to collect the marble splatter version of that. I used to collect them. Every time I saw one, I would buy them.
Oh, I love
and
that.
I would put them on the wall behind me. I had them like in the wall. So I had a whole wall of like about 12 to 15 copies of that on the wall. And then,
it's amazing. It kind of looks like a pastry.
It does. It just was like, what the hell is that? It's like, yeah. And I kind of was like, one day, like, yeah, this is kind of stupid. But yeah. I mean, I used to be able to pick that up for like 100 yen, 500 yen. So every time I would just, but it's actually, like everything has kind of gone up in price these days. But that I love. There's something special about that little single, that little 7-inch EP. There's something about it that really strikes a chord with me.
The nostalgia for you must be
nostalgia, and just that packaging is just mind blowing, blowing cool for a hardcore punk band, you know.
So we're now going to talk about the least spoken about Gastunk thing of all time that really? I love so much, and I will derail this video if you let me, so I won't.
I have really not. Yes, it's like the solo
single. So this is the 3 Sex Xmas.
Yes.
And just let me do my spiel on this.
Go ahead.
Okay.
The stage is yours. I got nothing to say.
I'm so obsessed with this and I don't know if I've ever said any of these words out loud before to anyone, because who in North America is having this conversation? But so Matsumura's left the band. Perhaps he was let go. I'm not sure. You know, I would assume Baki, Baby, and Tatsu are like the most technically proficient, skilled members of the band, and perhaps they were looking for a drummer who could keep up. Again, I'm just putting some thoughts out there. But Matsumura is no longer in the band. They're a 3-piece, and while they're looking for a drummer, they release this. So every single one of these releases features only the member of the band that is featured on it and no one else. So for example, this Baki single features only Baki. He plays every single instrument. He sings. He wrote every song. It's the title track is I'm Fled Man. And then the B-side is Don't Like Me. And I believe they were also responsible for designing everything. So the layout, whatever. So he drew these pictures. And this is like foreshadowing for where Baki is going.
And he called himself Vaki with a V on it too.
Yeah,
right?
It's Baki. That never appeared anywhere else. But he was Baki with a V. And yeah, so you can see everything that he does is listed here: electric, acoustic guitar, organ, synthesizer, bass, sax, percussion, vocal, whistle, and etc. Right? So everything is really just him. And we're going to get so much into Baki that I'll probably save it. But these are two really good tracks that show his more like softer singer-songwriter, alternative rock. We're going to talk a lot about that, so we'll save that.
Okay.
This is Tatsu's, which is I Can Alone Do It, I Alone Can It. Right. And it is amazing. I cannot describe how much I love this.
I've got to revisit this, man. It's been a lot of years. I couldn't tell you anything.
So when I was young and full of energy and found Tatsu on MySpace, I wrote out to him and said, I love this. And he was like, how do you know this? How would anyone know this? Tatsu sings here. He plays electric and acoustic guitar. There's two tracks, A Fugitive from the Pain and Bloody Blue. And the first one's like a faster punk song, and the next one's like, I don't know, 6 or 7 minute ballad. And they are just so beautiful. And he's just a kid who's a genius, pouring his heart out, playing everything in this. And this is an indescribable album, or excuse me, an indescribable single. So Mike, you're going to get a kick out of it. And anyone listening to this who's just a fan of music should enjoy this.
I mean, I've heard it, I've owned it, but I
just can't remember it. I should have reminded you to refresh the 3 Sex Xmas.
You should have, yeah.
So the third one is Baby's solo.
Yeah.
Which is just really cool, more like design. I think he's starting to get that's how he signed things for a while with that little insignia in the middle. So the tracks on this are Concertos, Drunkers' Folk Days, Rounding Wooden Horses, and Glockenspiel. And again, the coolest art. I mean, look at Baby with the snake, this person. It's just like, I love this. So I don't know if you remember what this is, but this is like European traditional folk music. He's playing acoustic guitar, mandolin, like soprano recorder. There's a flute, like this is just world folk music.
This is made for 59-year-old me. I'm all about it. So I can't wait to revisit.
I have to say this personal anecdote about this because I have to. I had a cat named Waffles when I was growing up, and whenever I played this, he came into my room and would sit in front of the stereo.
Wow.
It was like, I don't know, 10 times or whatever, but it was like every time I was just like, this is like a piper, like calling this animal to come into the room. I think, again, if you are an open-minded fan of music, you will get a kick out of this. It plays a lot of instruments. It's really beautiful and interesting. And last but not least, because this is actually important, unlike everything else I just brought up, this is the In the Fire reissue.
Yes.
And this is their way of introducing Pazz as the drummer who replaced Matsumura. So now we have a lot of short names in the band: Baki, Tatsu, Baby, Pazz, right? This is the lineup. And
I love Pazz. He's in one of my other favorite Japanese bands.
So we need to talk about this. So Matsumura was a great drummer, but there was nothing remarkable about him. I actually think he did a great job on a lot of those tracks and kept up the best that he could, but there are a lot of fantastic musicians who were not virtuosos. And Pazz is a virtuoso, though. He is a technical genius. He can do anything on the drums and brought a level of complexity to this band, which he showed off immediately with Baruth, which we'll get to in a second, but a level of complexity that Matsumura could have never done. And it definitely pushed the other members to play more like progressive rock and get harder. But yeah, so I'm just guessing because I have no proof, and I've said this for many years, but so this is a re-recording of In the Fire, and my guess is that they told Pazz, we'll record any song you want, because it's like, it's you can now put your mark on an old song. I'm just making this up, but like, it seems reasonable. So yeah, this is an In the Fire with Pazz showing what he's made of, but he's still kind of like doing what Matsumura does. So this is really not that exciting compared to where we're headed. But anyway, 3 Sex Xmas, if you don't know it, well, now you do. And it comes in this gigantic, you can hang them all over your wall. So, there's one more pit stop
Okay.
Just for 2 seconds, which is Baki's band that he started in '85, but just has this release now in yay, joy, right?
Yeah.
So this is early 1987, and this is the first look at the different side of Baki, really, though. Like, or I guess what we had just heard with Three Sex Xmas was, but this is the, like, and I'm going to have a hard time with this. And I was actually waiting for this moment with you, Mike. I am very bad at trying to explain whatever this fucking genre is that Baki does, which is like alternative rock meets bluesy rock meets like vampy chords for like, I just want to say, because this is from a musician standpoint, a vamp in music, which is very common in jazz, is when you're on the musician is on one static chord that kind of just keeps spiraling back to that chord and never melodically leads you anywhere. And this is like the first time we're kind of hearing Baki do that sort of thing.
My take on this record is that it's kind of channeling Japanese post-punk, like Oedipus and Asylum and all like the trans records stuff.
Yeah.
ZOA and that kind of, and Sodom, like later era Sodom, who they were all on the same label. You know, all these bands are on the same label. To me, that's what it kind of feels like to me. This Joy project feels like it's, and our man Tadashi Sato, direction from HG Fact, pre-HG Fact, Tadashi Sato, because he was involved with Baki and Trans Records and Fool's Mate. He worked for Fool's Mate, right? Sato from HG Fact worked for Fool's Mate, so he was in the record industry. That's why.
Right, so he's sort of on their side as opposed to
right from the
Dogma
beginning.
City Rocker.
Another thing that I noticed, it says the cover design by Joy and PPP Office. I was like, PPP, where have I seen that before? Gizm. The Gizm videos were made by PPP Project, right? So I don't know if that's the same people, but it would kind of make sense.
Seems reasonable. I mean, this was the time when they created that documentary, If It's a Little Rainy.
Yeah, and it's on Trans Records, like I said, which is a super interesting, kind of like gothic, post-punk, new wave, industrial, like experimental label. To me, this record kind of fits in that. You know what, Greg? Until like
this continues to grow on me. The last track on this, Sacrifice, to me is phenomenal.
Yeah, you know what, Greg? Until last night, I thought this was the only songs that Joy had, and I looked it up, and it's not. They have others. They're on this compilation album, which I don't have, called The Brain Solution, and they cover Arnold Lane by Pink Floyd on it.
Yes, now I'm remembering that.
Yeah, and there's another comp called NG2, which has No Lip on it, which was Roger Armstrong's band. So there's all these like little I didn't honestly until last night I didn't know that Joy had other songs apart from this 12-inch. So
these are the best songs, though.
I think so. Yeah.
And this is also the debut of Baki playing harmonica, which he gets quite good at as time goes on. But
this is the song harmonica, which is nice, And his backing band are 3 women, I think, as far as I remember.
This was also where he plays saxophone,
right?
Well, in this, not on this, I believe, but just in general, there are live pictures of him playing saxophone. Kind of interesting that all this, because we were showing like Tatsu was like taking a break to play with Gas, and like this is also occurring, but this might have also been recorded while Gastunk didn't have a drummer.
Right.
They were doing something else. Maybe.
I love this rock. If you're in Japan, it's like 500, 600 yen record. But to me, I've always considered this like a real, like Japanese, like post-punk record, like Oedipus. Like I said, like Sodom, Zoa, Asylum. It kind of just all ties in, but a little bit more rocking.
You're right.
Like you said, that's always been my take on it. But
yeah, we're gonna have to discuss a lot of Baki's like genre bending stuff as we get out of this, because he really does it all.
Right.
So here comes this heavyweight, because it's June 1987.
Oh, nice. You know what? I'm so happy that you held up I was thinking
held up the correct one.
Are there there might be people watching who don't know about this? Perhaps because everyone
No, you're right.
I mean, maybe, I don't know, maybe not now, but maybe up until, you know, like the internet or whatever. But yeah, obviously you got the American version and the Japanese version of Under the Sun.
Under the Sun, we didn't say it yet, right?
Under the Sun. Probably one of the best photos of Gastunk is in the...
It is. And this is the first, like, that in the Fireflex, it really doesn't count. This is Pazz's debut. The bag!
The bag! Go show the bag.
It's a big, wild release.
It is. It's so the first question that came to my mind was, why did Pazz release this record? Like what were they sort of thinking? As you know, Pazz, you know, hardcore punk label. This is not a hardcore punk record.
To say the least.
I'm assuming that it totally bombed in the States. I'm assuming it didn't sell well at all to people who thought they were getting a band that sounded like Thrash Till Death.
But what did people even think? I mean, you know, I guess that's right. That's probably what they thought they were getting, is some Septic Death kind of thing.
Well, no, more like Japanese hardcore, you know, Thrash Till Death, Lip Cream, Execute, Systematic Death, Gauze. But it's so not that.
I can't even put myself in that mindset of what it would have been like to have been a human in the 80s receiving that, to be honest. But
I mean, for a lot of people outside of Japan, this would have been their first introduction to this, like, you know,
absolutely.
And band from Japan called Gastunk.
It's a great record that has a lot of really high moments on it, and has a lot of what the wonderful things that Gastunk became, you know, built into it. For a lot of people, this is the hard cutoff, but not for me. I have a lot of nice things to say.
I was like listening to last night though, Greg, and of course I know I love this record, but man, I love Baruth, but man, the like, these songs are not as immediate as the songs on like Dead Song, man. The melodies are kind of like not readily apparent. It takes a while for them to like.
It does.
They're kind of off. They're kind of weird.
I would assume most Gastunk fans, if you just randomly surprise them to hum Baruth, they probably can.
It's such a weird opening song for me.
But it's showing off Pazz, is what I really believe.
Yes, there you go.
That's the track to show off. We have a new drummer who can do impossibly technical things, change time and tempo, and you know, really trick the listener quite a bit.
Yeah. It's not prog, but man, it's
close,
not an easy opener, man. Like, you know, it's
they've all gone to a new level though. And if you know, the mix on this leaves something to be desired.
So this kind of came out a little bit before, right? And then the Pazz version is often called the US mix, and it's partly re-recorded, right?
With Baki singing different vocals.
Yes, like he's singing in like English on the Pazz.
I can't listen to this.
No, me neither.
Like the music
this sounds very, very pretentious, but I always like played this one.
Yeah, it actually, it's not where I want to be at all. But so let's do our favorite track or tracks on this real quick.
Okay. Leathership.
Leathership. Easiest crowd sing along.
I mean, you can see a pattern emerging here with me. Shout, like the anthems, right? I love these like anthems, but I think Smash the Wall has a kind of good, like, it's kind of poppy though. The chorus is kind of poppy.
Leathership and Smash the Wall were partnered songs in the live show.
Right.
Those ones together. The title track, sort of Running to the Sun, not Under the Sun, but Running to the Sun, is beautiful bass intro with really slow guitar creeping in, and again, sort of like, I use the word very affectionately, monotonous. It's a really long build before you get into the song, and that's probably my favorite, along with not far behind Breeze Calls and Regina. Have to mention Regina because it's like a 9-minute ballad that is.
See what, like when American punks bought this on Pazz records, they did not want a 9-minute acoustic ballad.
Right. For sure, I realize that, but as a broader music fan who did get to hear all of Gastunk and not only Regina isolated, right? I do love all of it. And this is where you kind of see a little more like of a gothic sound, progressive sound, right?
I want to
And
mention I love Husk. I like Baki's vocal on Husk is one of my favorite vocal performances from him. He's like he's
it's
channeling,
great.
yeah, like the gothic side, the Enka, the gothic. I call it Enka Doom or Enka Gothic. Yeah,
It's great. The Husk sound is it's beautiful, and Baby's bass really shines on Husk in particular.
Yeah.
Although the mix again leaves something to be desired, but we're leading towards something.
Greg, quick question: have you like A-B'd the two versions with your better ears? Can you like hear any like discernible differences between the American version and the Japanese version?
I'm sure me and a good friend of mine who is similarly obsessed with Gastunk with me, and I owe a lot of spiritual guidance to for helping me just grow with the band over the years. I'm sure we have at some point, but I don't recall anymore. But there probably are differences.
Yeah, I always think this one sounds better. I know,
just super biased.
This is the one, like, and the track listing is slightly different too. There's a slight switch in the track listing too on the.
You're right, and I sort of forget which is which, but I do.
It's very slight. It's very slight. It's just like a couple of songs are switched, I think.
Yeah.
So,
I think have to mention, I think, in Regina, there's a really slow part where Tatsu's on a 12-string guitar for this, going in and out of melodies with Tatsu following him on, or with Baby following him on bass. And it all leads to a really intense acoustic lead that lasts maybe 3 or 4 seconds. That is just chillingly beautiful. Again, Regina's a must listen to if you're an open-minded music fan.
Yeah. Also, one more thing we've got to mention, everyone knows who Pazz is, but the designer who did this is also a super famous Japanese designer called Tadanori Yoko, who is probably more it's not a competition, but like super famous
I forgot that, yeah.
Designer in Japan. And also
it looks like a jazz record, first of all. So it definitely everything's misleading about it, but I kind of dig that.
I dig it. I mean, people are shocked. Obviously, most punks are gonna go for this, right? With the Pazz head. What the hell is going on? With that. But I love it, man. It's like kind of avant-garde, arty avant-garde.
You know what might be worth discussing for a second is that they released 800 Things in 1986. This is their one release of 87. And so they've changed the kind of band that they are. They're not just a machine that's going to keep pumping out material. They're kind of slowing down and getting maybe a little more serious. The Japanese one we were holding up is from June, but the US one came out in December.
Right.
So that took a little while. And we also had this along the way, the Wild Times Flexi. Which is just a live version of Wild Times. But this also came out with the US version, but I believe in Japan though. But this came out around the same time.
We've also got like major label money and big companies coming into the picture now,
right? Because they realize Gastunk is getting huge.
This was recorded at a studio called Media Bum, and I had to look it up, and it's like it's a recording studio that was owned by Dai, which is a massive corporation. In fact, my local supermarket that I go to every day is Dai, and the studio was owned by Dai. So there's a lot of this like Crown Studio. There's a lot of like big corporations sort of coming into the mix with this record, but it's on Passport and it's distributed by Southern Studios in the West. So there's quite a big difference there, right, Greg? With the what's happening in Japan, that their sort of not debut really, but in America and Passport, Southern Studios.
Oh yeah. Well, it's a totally different world.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
So now we're in a year later for June 88, and we've got Mother.
Yes.
Yay. 10 out of 10 album art.
I was playing this again last night. I love this record, man. I mean, America tried to ruin them. They couldn't. They tried. Well, I always love the thanks list on here, man. Right at the top is like Ron from Final Conflict. He's like above Don Dokken. Like he's above like Don Dokken and like Kurt Hammett, James Hetfield. Lars Ulrich. I just love
Yeah,
that.
this is just insane. Like
I just
Terry
love that
Bozzio.
Ron is at the top of the things list. I don't know
You
what
know
more.
what? I must have looked at this at some point in my life, but I don't remember it. And yeah, this is very much so. Like, we should spell it out a little more clearly. Gastunk went to Los Angeles to record Mother.
Yeah, Eddie
This is
Ashworth.
their final album, and it is really good. But it's like heavy metal, but it's like LA rock inspired. It's like a very Metallica mix, which is not a good thing. The mix on this is not perfect.
People keep saying that. I don't mind it. I don't know, man. Maybe I just listen to so much 80s heavy metal. I don't really. What's that?
This is the first pressing LA version that has this. This is a sticker that, and if I took it out, you could see the real Mother under, and it has the hype sticker. Boy, I don't know how to do the flip mirror thing. This is it says like LA version first pressing. Gaston goes to LA too.
Whoa.
So kind of cool.
Top want immediately. Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah, and again, just look at this band and look at everything's just so fucking cool here. How could you not love this?
They must have been having such a good time. What was it? It's like 1988, LA, young guys and like let loose on the Sunday.
The photography from this is wild of their time in LA. And there's a lot to say about this. So the mix for me, we're going to get to this shortly. I keep leading towards something. I wonder if you know what it is that I'm leading toward. But the mix, we're really missing Baby from this. The bass is so thin. The sound is very thin. And certain tracks it doesn't really sort of matter for. Like Blue Peter sounds phenomenal. Moonchild sounds phenomenal. Revelation sounds great. But I would want a better mix on certain things like Waiting in the Sky and Fighting Mad.
Greg, have you ever checked out any of the Japanese CD reissues or anything? Is there any improvements with any of those? Or
I have, and I don't believe anything is good enough.
Okay,
but it sort of doesn't matter because of the secret thing we're getting to.
Okay,
you'll see. But let's talk about Mother for a second. I think the music's incredible. The band is so unique and creative now that there's just nothing like this on earth. I mean, the final track is like 16 minutes if you want to count them as one.
Okay. I was listening to that last night. That section where Genesis bleeds into Revelation is one of the come on, it's one of the best moments in the history of Gastunk. Am I right?
Yeah, it's amazing.
It's massive and beautiful. And it's almost like the opening to Dead song amplified in its beauty. I was just sat here last night, just thinking, man, this is incredible.
So worth mentioning, they have 3 albums, and each one ends on an absolutely epic slow ballad: Dead Song, Regina, and Revelation.
Yeah.
And that's a theme that couldn't have been an accident. They're all also 8 songs if you don't count Moku Shiroku.
Right.
Because then Dead Song would be 9, but it's sort of just like an intro. But yeah, so they're all 8 songs. They all kind of follow a similar story almost, even though they're different albums. So I want to talk a little bit about Moonchild.
Okay.
Which I think is another favorite of mine. I haven't said 5 yet, so I'm still going to say top 5 for Moonchild. This is Baki's song. It's kind of cool to hear. I think he wrote the music for it too. And so it was written by Baki. He does a great job. The others made it perfect. And kind of want to highlight Pazz for a second, because the middle section of Moonchild, which is a very mid-paced, mostly unimpressive song that's just kind of go, and it doesn't have any technical craziness. The middle section where the chorus repeats, Pazz keeps changing up what the drums are doing to a really, really bizarre fills with a nice slow groove, and then then he'll go back to the slow groove, another big fill. Meanwhile, the whole chorus is just going as normal. But how often are you so focused in on the drummer? And he gets you to do that, where you because Baki's singing this beautiful thing and Tatsu's following the vocals with 2 harmonized guitars. So it's like Moonchild, and then he goes, and there's all of these things happening at once. And it's also, to me, I think has a wonderful production. So they did definitely get Moonchild quite right. I love that, and I just can't even imagine. So they're like playing at like Fender's Ballroom and Whiskey A Go Go in LA, and like who are the lucky fucks in the United States who were
Right.
like present for 1988 Gastunk?
But man, Greg, you know, like
I can't even picture this.
Waiting in the Sky to me is such a massive, made for stadium. Like it to me, it's a better opener than Baruth. This could be a really controversial opinion. You can just it's made for the Budokan. It's like just made.
Yeah, Waiting in the Sky is great, and again, that thing I keep talking about, that is the opener.
Yeah, right.
That is the ultimate opening track for Gastunk, Waiting in the
Right,
Sky. It's
right.
so perfect.
It's massive. Just the title, Waiting in the Sky, just conjures up this great imagery.
I know.
And also Necrophobia is kind of like a leather ship style, like
It's so underrated because it seems they didn't really play it live.
Right.
And I don't know why, because I think Necrophobia is the most balanced track on the whole Mother album, because it's kind of like old Gastunk meets new Gastunk. Very punk.
Yeah.
It's very fast, but it's still, they're showing off now they're like really technically skilled musicians.
Yeah.
But you can't really say that about the others. And
because I was gonna say, hey, is there any sort of remnants of the old Dogma records, Gastunk, that era? And yes, there is some in Necrophobia. It's still there.
And like a pinch of Blue Peter, but not really.
Yeah,
and then, of course, there's the one we didn't talk about that we're not going to talk about, I'm sure.
This bad boy?
Womp womp.
Counterclockwise. I see this. I was saying earlier, like when we just get the sort of meat and potatoes hard rock, bluesy hard rock, we don't want Gastunk to be doing that. Sorry. And why?
This is
counterclockwise is
when I think of what could have been done with this 11 minutes or whatever. Hey, they can't all be winners, Gastunk. I love you.
I know. Got Moonchild on the B side, but yeah, it's kind of commercial song, but like I said earlier, I don't like it. It doesn't happen often, but I don't like it when you get this run of the mill, bog standard blues rock, hard rock in Gastunk.
I agree. And look, for that being generic, like bluesy LA rock, they did a good job. It's not bad, and we're sort of just being hard, sort of jokingly. But of all the Gastunk songs that exist, it's probably my least listened to.
It's not great.
So I think this is just something I love so very much.
There we go.
So they're back to Gastunk for Midnight Rain, this 12-inch wonderful EP. Oh my god. And kind of a cool thing on the hype sticker, Looking for Reason. Really just liked that, like little like heartful melody type thing.
Yeah, right.
So this is Gastunk's like final real release. You know, they have a couple of other small tidbits, but this is
edited version of Revelation, which I do like the Genesis Revelation epic, but it's nice also to have like this truncated edit.
Me too. Yeah, I like / love everything about this. I think this is, to me, perfect. And one of the things I will say when I say like Gastunk only got better with age, I love what they were doing here. I actually, unlike Under the Sun with English vocals, I actually like the English vocals on Revelation. I do like that I could listen to this and not have to hear Genesis if I don't want to. This ends with a very brief instrumental called Sedation, which is just Tatsu on guitar, and it is shockingly beautifully brilliant. It's hypnotic. It's everything. Acoustic. I mean, brilliant.
I would take a whole album of like that, those kind of like instrumentals from Tatsu. And absolutely.
Let's bookmark that.
Okay.
Because it never happens.
Right. I know.
It doesn't. But we are going to get 5,000 Tatsu releases, but he never revisits his soft double acoustic guitar side.
I love it, man. It's so beautiful. It's like amazing. But Midnight Rain, the title track is totally like LA. It's got is a bit of slide guitar in there.
They visited LA and they changed forever, and that was what happened. And Midnight Rain is you're right. It is just kind of like generic LA rock. Although again, I love it. I think they did it well. I like the lyrics actually about like Native Americans, but. I want to talk about You Can't Be Like Me, because from a somewhat from a creative standpoint, but from a technical standpoint, this might be Tatsu's best solo in Gastunk. This is really where he's showing off that he now knows how to sweep pick and quite well, going along with the notes with his right hand, playing at light speed. Right. He's harmonized it. It's his loudest solo. You could have the volume set to here, and then the solo will just be here, whether you like it or not. I don't know how well you know it off the top of your head, but
no, I did sort of. Listening last night, I was thinking, yeah, we are getting a little bit of like Eddie Van Halen, Randy Rhoads kind of in. We're losing a bit of the Japaneseness here.
Yeah, well, he's taking all of the master techniques that are happening around the world, and I don't even know how he was hearing them. You know, I guess there must have been like VHS tapes going around, the hot lick stuff for those virtuoso guitarists. But he must have seen Yngwie Malmsteen and. Yeah.
But like you say, he does it like so well, you know, like it's kind of hard not to. It's difficult not to hate it. It's yeah, you got to. I know it's. I probably wouldn't like it if it was anybody else, but because it's Tatsu, it's like fuck, you know, and it's Gastunk. So,
to those at home who I keep suggesting you must listen to X, Y, and Z, and you're perhaps thinking, no, I'm probably not going to. Really listen to the solo in "You Can't Be Like Me" because it is blistering. Tatsu at his finest, possibly ever, in my opinion.
Greg, one thing I want to just add in about this record, it must have been influential. There's a Japanese like hardcore punk band from Hiroshima called Asphalt, who have Midnight Pain, right? Come on,
yeah,
come on,
it's like, awesome. And they redid the whole album cover, even the back. Exactly. The eyes of the members.
Japanese hardcore punk rockers can be influenced by Midnight Rain. You too.
Absolutely.
Open your ears and heart and give Midnight Rain a second chance. Come on. All right, where are we going next, Greg? Where are we going next?
Let's just do 10 seconds on this because we have so much going on, Mike. I hope I'm never going to say you're never getting on with your day. I'm glad that you have the mini CD too. So
yes,
they cover Cream's Sunshine of Your Love. It's actually really good for what it is. But then they have a orchestra do their own version of Moku Shiroku.
I know.
Moku Shiroku Part 2.
I know.
This is if you had a let me ask you this. If the Dogma single came out in 1985, February 1985, and a time traveler came to you and handed you this, what would you have even thought? How did we get here in 3 years?
I think I might have thought, what the hell is this tiny little shiny disc?
That's a good point.
I don't know.
Great picture of the band, though. I mean, they look awesome. I love all of this.
I wonder, it's funny, we were just talking about we don't want any, blues rock, hard rock, and then they kind of cover like the archetypal like blues rock, hard rock song.
But they're trying to appeal to the United States, but certainly LA.
God, this could not have gone down well. Like Japanese band.
Of course it didn't.
Like not to their ears, like butchering a Cream classic. It's like what's going on?
Oddly enough, they did a great job though.
That riff, I like the riff to that song anyway. But hearing Tatsu play is, but I'm not going to play this too often. Every now and again.
I want to pause because there's something I wanted to show. That is their tour book from 1986 for the Heartful Melody Four Islands tour, which is full of cool stuff. It actually, and actually, I particularly love these pictures of Baby because something worth noting. He was a funny guy, had a lot of really interesting, just imagery, and he wore a pair of scissors as a necklace, which you can see here. He also had like a gigantic spider as a necklace as well.
Yeah.
Like super iconic looks. I really want a toy of him, ... because
man, you know that like live footage, it's outside in Shinjuku, the Captain Records thing. Baby it's so it's so cool. That's a Tatsu doll, right?
It is. So I want to plug my friend AG, who has been making Japanese punk figures. He started with Michiru Endo of the Stalin and has put out a ton. I don't know if you can see, but I have these Baki figures behind me on this. I didn't take those down. I actually don't know who makes those, but they're really well done. So Fubi. But my friend AG made these. He might still have them in stock. These figures of Tatsu from like the Vanishing Signs era. And it's incredibly well made, and just I would love a baby one day. But
Tatsu, man, he's such a cool dude. I remember like he was at like a hardcore punk show in Osaka. And I don't remember what it was. And he was just hanging out and he was like talking to everyone and he was like just a really chill dude. I'm like, man, it's fucking Tatsu. It's Tatsu from
I
Gastunk.
know I got to meet him. He was so nice,
Yeah.
and it was just incredible. But to me, he's like untouchable sacred ground legend, you know. But I just wanted to show that because why the hell not? But I did want to show this, that they have a Mother tour book from '88.
Nice,
that,
man. Beautiful.
I somehow don't remember how. I think something I bought on eBay when I was a kid, it came with this. And this is the one I had when I was a kid. And I just remember thinking, like, I loved this band and was still learning more. And like I said, this was like my whole personality for a year, was just like loving Gastunk. Tons of photos from their time in LA.
Nice.
But the thing that really got me was like, I liked punk and hardcore and stuff at the time, but there wasn't almost sort of like this idol treatment for them, where you're getting like every member so individually highlighted, so individually important, and you would get interviews and like questionnaires, and we're talking about their blood type, their least favorite food, and here's babies. So cool. I actually photocopied this. I had this hanging in my college dorm for a long time.
Wow.
And, people would come over and ask, who is that? And I'd say it's probably easier if I don't.
I feel like Baki is really he's really into Ian Astbury from The Cult at this point, image wise.
Yeah, I mean, we could talk about Baki's fashion.
Okay,
you know what I mean? But like he really had crazy looks. And this picture of Tatsu to me is like, is this not the coolest guy in the world? This is who I want to be my lead guitarist for my band. And, you know, we had talked about this for a minute. Tatsu had all the skill, the look, the stage presence, the pyrotechnics to be any band's guitarist on earth. And I think he would have been a great successor, this is crazy, but to Steve Vai for David Lee Roth's band. Van Halen and then Steve Vai. And then Tatsu had everything and would have been absolutely perfect for America at that time.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I really, really mean that. I'm not overstating this. No. From a technical standpoint, Tatsu has everything you would want in your band's
amazing stage presence, like the coolest looking dude. Like,
right, he can run around, he can make faces, he never messes up live, he's super tight. And here's, of course, we didn't mention his real name, Shigeru Kobayashi, but this is Pazz. And Pazz is punk meets jazz. Pazz.
Is that what is that what it is?
It is. It's jazz with a P for punk.
Fuck, man, I did not know I'd be learning so much on my own video. That's amazing.
So yeah, anyway, I had this so early, and I just remember I kept thinking, what have I gotten myself into? Because this is just so not any, because you could get into Jism and the Comes and Death Side and Lip Cream, and there ain't none of this. No. You know what I mean? So I was like, is this band like the biggest thing ever in Japan? And then I had that magazine with them on the cover, and I'm like, there's nothing like this. So just kind of fascinating. So now we're going to mention something interesting, and I'm trying to do this chronologically. So the band is breaking up because Baby, the bassist, wants to move to the United States, so inspired by his trip there. So he is ending the band, and because, as we mentioned, Gastunk is his band, he is in charge, and I don't think they can go on without him. And he releases Alone Against Tomorrow, both on CD and vinyl. And the backs are inverted for the two of them. So I love this, and that doesn't seem to be a popular opinion. With,
you know what, I was listening to it again last night, obviously, Greg, for the purposes of the show. You know, it kind of reminds me of that Masami record, in a way. And it's sort of
which one?
The Powerline, Shockline. I mean, not.
Powerline, Shockline.
Not exactly, but just in it's sort of a little bit all over the place, and like, but you know, like Dead Man Shake could totally have been like a kind of rock and roll, like a punky rock and roll song that Masami.
I know, it's like record. It's like lo-fi Ramones meets Misfits. I don't even know how to describe it.
But before that, you get like Fun in the Senate, which is a beautiful like instrumental.
So That's what I actually want to highlight. So there's 5 tracks on this. 3 of them are like kind of like hardcore punk, songs. I don't know how you would describe them. They're
I mean, to
kind of
me, like
strange.
Rage, kind of, I was listening, the riff. It's almost like one of the kind of more rocking like Tetsuare songs. It has like that kind of a riff to it.
Yeah, that's a nice slow onto I don't need to say it's awesome. And Dead Man Shake is really fast and weird and crazy. But for me, it's the 2 instrumentals. So you said Fun in the Sun. If you listen to Baby's 3 Sex Xmas EP, where he's like literally just playing mandolins and flutes and guitars, you can hear he really understands melody and music, and that should just be apparent from his bass playing in general. But boy, this is like one of the most beautiful instrumentals ever.
It's amazing. Yeah,
it's phenomenal. And then he has a bass solo called "I Have No Mouth, I Must Scream."
Yeah,
it's just him playing bass the whole time, and it's really interesting. And I believe this was released before Gastunk broke up because he's trying to raise money for his trip to America. And this was probably sold at their gigs, if for just a little bit before they broke up. And again, worth mentioning on the huge one here, you can see his very distinct art style. He's like pen and ink drawing these crazy. And I love the title "Alone Against Tomorrow." Just like I love everything about this, and
it says it says X Gastunk solo at the bottom right in tiny little letters. Yeah,
and X Gas Tank. I think they brought. We said it, but they must have brought the gas tank back because they thought it would be more marketable.
Right,
must have been. That could be. I see no other reason.
That was probably an LA marketing dude's suggestion. I don't know.
Well, Mike Foster, I could talk about Alone Against Tomorrow forever.
I want to mention the last song though, Gallows Pole, like this spooky, like fucking like dark, like kind of weird instrumental song. Yeah, that's all right. I just want to mention.
It's
bass driven and keyboard driven, like instrumental. So
yeah, he really tried to show his range with that. That the whole EP just has like a lot of strange. Different sounds in it. And Gallows Pole's definitely another bizarre one. They all are though. Like and it's all in English, all of the lyrics. Again, geared towards America, I'm sure.
All right, Greg, where are we heading next?
We're gonna talk about my second favorite thing of the whole conversation. But it's the biggest one for me.
I think I know what it is.
Okay, so this is we got both for CD and vinyl.
CD and vinyl, yeah.
This is Gas Tank's The End. This is their final live show. That was December 22nd, 1988. And this is literally my favorite thing in the world of Gastunk. It's one of my favorite things of all time. The backstage passes.
I've got 3. If anyone's free tomorrow night, I've got 3 backstage.
Oh, I love this.
3 backstage passes.
What real Gastunk fan doesn't have 3? Dude, okay, so this is recorded December 88. It gets released February 89, so a little bit of a delay. But this is the ultimate representation of Gastunk. This is what it always should have been forever. It's the best mix and production you could ever hear of this, particularly Baby.
It's one of the best live sounding records I think I've probably got in my collection. It's unbelievable.
They put everything into this. Everybody is at their technical peak, at their emotional peak. Every member is putting their all into this because they know it's the last show. But like, if there's any nerves, you can't tell because they're just on fire from the gate. Tatsu is incredible in this, but Baby is really absolutely wonderful. And his mix is finally correct for probably the first time in Gastunk's history where you can really hear the bass.
Right.
It is sits perfectly where it needs to. And he's just so tight, so skilled, and is embellishing everything. Every song gets a little something extra. And there's a couple of things I want to show. The first is, so this had the VHS releases. So there's like part 1 and part 2. It doesn't include every track because it's limited to how much could fit on the VHSs. I didn't have part 2 as a kid, but I did have part 1. And so let's say I watched this every day when from 16, 17 to 18. So that would mean I've watched this like 1,000 times just in those years. And that's probably not an exaggeration. I watched this so much that it is just unbelievable because they keep changing outfits and they keep changing because it's almost like, you know, really like Idol style. Like they're going through their eras and their sectors and they come out, but the backdrop changes to match the era. So when they come out for the Dead Song medley, they've rebuilt this with the "Don't Fuck With Me" written on the wall, with the grave, with all of the details. And they've got like later on, they've got the hieroglyphics from, I don't know what, from Mother or whatever. And this is on YouTube. Someone uploaded the whole thing. It's a must watch. And I need to say, so Baby, you can really hear him shine on Fighting Mad, on Husk. He really shines there. You can hear that loud and clear. You can hear him very clearly on Baruth too, so you can finally get a sense for what he's doing. But this is what I said we were leading to. They open with Waiting in the Sky. It's perfect. But the Vanishing Signs on this is my favorite live performance of any band of any genre ever. And I really mean that. And that is something, if it's unbelievable. Baby is taking that basic line and changing it over and over while Tatsu and Baki weave in and out of him. And for the live show with the Vanishing Signs, they had something they did where Baki would, or Tatsu would play something on guitar, and then Baki would have to imitate it with his voice. So and he would go, and they would trade it back and forth. But in between this, Baby and Pazz, they're like perfectly in the pocket, playing in and out of each other. And if you're not paying attention, you could miss it. But Baby's playing like, I don't even know, like 100 notes every 10 seconds, maybe more. It's so fast, and it's my favorite. It's my favorite thing in Gastunk, and it's what kept me coming back for more, over and over. And so that got a lot of playing time, and I think it's worth also showing for a second because we're about to leave Gastunk and go on.
Are we? Okay. I guess we are. Yes,
Sort of.
We're going to return to them later, though, right?
The booklet, if you want to pick up the end, it is just pictures from the show, the backstage, like just filled with amazing. There's one in particular I want to show. This one. This is such a great shot where you can see Tatsu with his 12 double-headed guitar with 12 strings, 6 strings, Baki next to him. My only critique of this, and it's incredibly small, is the filming of the video. Oh, a bunch of stuff just fell out.
Okay, your backstage passes probably and the sticker sheets, right?
Backstage passes be falling out. The filming of the video is incredibly erratic and fast. You can never focus on any member for more than 1 second, and they almost never show Baby or Pazz. And super small complaint, but overall, this to me, you get to hear all of the old Gastunk with their new technique. You get to experience the whole course of the band, and depending the later release you get of the end, the more tracks it has. Because
I know. I didn't know this until quite recently. Obviously, I just thought it was but it's a double CD. So obviously, the original CD version is longer than the original double vinyl. There's a recent one with like that's the CD plus 3 tracks, right?
And if you get one of their new DVDs, it's called like Gig 1988. There's more tracks from the end that didn't make the cut. So they show the eyes and sex. I have to think about which ones they show. But everything's incredible.
I just love like hearing and seeing like the old hardcore punk like songs from the Dogma era being played in this like massive arena to like 8,000 like young fans.
Yeah,
It's
and they're going nuts. I mean, who could blame them? And you know what? It's crazy because like they're breaking up at the height of their superpowers. They're on the magazine covers. They're being covered everywhere. And well, so we're not done, so we might as well get to the next thing because it actually ties into that. So this is actually January 1989. So it's the Dead song Flexi.
Okay, yeah. Rockin' F? Is that a Rockin' F thing?
It is, and worth mentioning, this originated in this Street Fighting Men magazine. So sometimes a lot of people don't know where those things came from, but this was just literally a flexi that this is still stuck in here. This one that was in this book. So that's how you got this.
There's a Poison one too, right? In the
what?
There's a Poison one too, Poison flexi, right? Too from
there is, yeah, and Jackson Joker, which we'll get to. So. To me, like Gastunk and X, look at how big their names are. They're the two bands of the moment. Right. But Gastunk is gone, and X is about to take over the country.
Gastunk could have been as big as X.
No doubt. Yeah, and they would have been perfect contemporaries to be gigging and touring together. So the timing of it and what happened with America was kind of sad. I do want to show this, though, because I'm positive that Gastunk had already broken up, but they took one last picture. That's not really seen online too much.
Oh, man, with Delanger on the other side. Oh, wow.
So Baki's already growing out his facial hair.
There you go. There he is.
Because I think he's ready to move on to something else. And this is actually, it's like a calendar. This is like a 1989 calendar. That one's the September. But there's a lot of cool stuff in this book. And this is the farewell for Gastunk, basically, of the original Gastunk before, they reform.
Right.
Let me ask you this, Mike. You got it in you today? Because I'm not tired at all. We going through the rest of it?
Yeah.
Let's make this.
What we got next? What's next, Greg?
Here we go. So let me put this down.
Yeah, come on. I'm just getting started.
We're just getting started now, to some extent. Okay, so now we're going to talk about. I did actually just want to say something about that flexi. Kind of a cool is it's Dead song, so it's an early songwriting, but with their new technical musicianship. They re-recorded it, and so you get to hear how they reimagined Dead song, but as the best version of Gastunk you'll ever hear, technically. And I love that version. We are now going to talk about my favorite thing, even more so than the end, in all of post-Gastunk history. You know what this is? We already talked.
I think I know what it is. I have it. If I think.
I'm so bad at this. Baki, the inner gates.
The inner gates.
Okay. So just to be clear, this thing above here, that is my big inner gates poster that hangs out at the top of the room. Okay. So this is literally one of my favorite things in music.
I love that you love this. Like, I don't dislike it, but I love that you love it.
There are so many friends in my life who are just not punk fans or whatever. And I have passed this on to them and just said, if you enjoy music, you should check this out. So this is the reissue. And worth looking at the back of both.
I think there's like 3 different issues of it, I think, as far as I remember.
There are 3. I only took these 2 out, though. The other one's just like the paper sleeve.
Right.
I have so much to say about this. I promise I won't go on about everything, but this is...
I'm all ears. Maybe I'll like open my heart and mind to it more after you've done the...
So this is 7 tracks. It is Baki's debut at post-Gastunk. So it's December 89. So just about a year after Gastunk breaks up, he gets right to work. And there's a lot of good members on this, which I'll get to. But there's just nothing I could recommend more than this. And there's a part of this is the songwriting is brilliant. I think this is Baki at his best ever. I think vocally and creatively and what he's doing with the storytelling in these songs is the best I've heard from him, past or present or anything. But now the guitarist, who he had a lot of people he worked with over the years and they returned. but Raven Otani, who was the guitarist for Marino, a Japanese heavy metal band who like started with demo tapes, went on to have a few albums.
Yeah.
He's the guitarist for this, and it's the most beautiful guitar work I could ever have hoped to heard on anything ever. This album, EP, whatever you want to think of it as, it is very odd though. So it has 3 songs in a row, then a spoken word track, then 2 more songs, and then like a piano ballad outro.
Right.
With Yoshiki from X as the one playing piano.
Right.
But this has Taiji from X playing bass.
Yeah.
And just a whole cast of characters. But Raven's guitar work on this, I have to say a few specifics. I can't help it. Sorry, Mike.
Go ahead.
The first track, Kingdom of the Heaven, the guitar solo in this is a very slow burn before, and I never heard anything quite like this. He has like these twisting harmonies that just meet up, and that final note where the whole thing explodes is the best note. It's a lot of guitar, so it's not just one note, but it's a lot of guitars working. It's the best thing ever. And I can't tell you how many times I'm like, rewind 20 seconds, rewind 20 seconds. I let that part loop over and over. It's such a slow, mysterious track that like leads to this explosion. There's a whole vocal chorus behind Baki. And track 2, Taste of Flower, is almost my favorite song ever for anything. I would say, yeah, it is. And it's so beautiful and unique. It goes in and out of different time signatures. Baki and the musicians he picked are giving it their all. The track Flying is track 6 is quite nice. Beautiful acoustic ballad. Time Weaver is probably the most unique song on it. The Yoshiki ballad's not great. And Yoshiki's not great, and Baki's just okay. And I'm going to eventually give my take for Baki's best ballad, which is coming up. But, you know, everything on this is just... Baki's harmonica playing got really nice. It's a lot of beautiful touches on it. The production is 10 out of 10. And I'm not the kind of guy who cares about... you know, a lot of people are like, oh, I wish this thing had a vinyl release. I've never been that kind of guy. If I've got it on CD or tape, fine. I wish this had a vinyl release. I can't believe it doesn't.
FOAD records.
Come on. How beautiful this is. I want to see this like a holographic cover, like with a, you know, foil, everything. Man, I love this so much. If you like interesting music or later era Gastunk, Baki took whatever the hell was going on there with Raven from Marino, and they're really just together perfect. And I can't believe they never worked together again, because boy, I love this more than anything in the world.
Amazing. Your passion for this is not going back on the shelf. This is staying out. This is going to get listened to again tonight or tomorrow.
To those listening, and for you, Mike, tracks 1, 2, 5, and 6. Just listen to those.
No,
I'm actually kind of basing this.
No, I'll listen to the whole thing. I don't do things by halves. If it's
okay, fair enough.
All or nothing.
For those who only want to taste,
okay.
Give me track 2. You know, so just had to say that. Couldn't help it.
Oh, great.
All right, so if we're moving on, there's a couple of other things worth mentioning. Baby's now a Rastafarian.
I know.
And so this is released in 1995, but it was recorded in 1990, so I'm still keeping with the chronological everything. This was released by Sakevi, by Beast Arts, but it's under the anagram of East Brats. And this had to have been recorded...
Blowing my mind right now. I did not know any of this.
Yeah, it's really cool. It's Baby and Dub Babylon, The Lightning. And it's a few instrumentals with Baby singing and playing bass and perhaps some other instruments. No, there's other members playing harmonica and guitar and drums, but this is Baby. Yeah, for people who don't know this, because I'm saying it kind of like matter-of-factly, Baby became a Rastafarian after Gastunk, like almost immediately, and focused solely on reggae. And this was not the first release of this, but it's the first recorded. And I'm not sure why it took 5 years to come out. But yeah, so 1990, just a little after Gastunk, this is happening.
That's amazing that Sakevi released it on B Starts with like a different That's amazing.
Yeah, it's interesting. I guess they were buddies from back in the day, right?
Right.
Pazz has gone on to Zoa. He's in Doom.
Yes. I mentioned Zoe already when we were talking about Joy.
Pure technical, progressive, weird post-punk goth. I don't know what to call it.
It's like progressive post-punk, like
But he's found his home, and that was released December '89. So everyone immediately got to doing stuff. And again, that Baki thing is my favorite thing ever. But no one was perhaps really doing something quite like. And sorry, Mike, you don't know how much stuff I'm looking around at. Trying to find things.
I can't even imagine what it might be, actually. It's like,
where have I
five or six more things.
I know. Do you appreciate the surprise element? Rockin' F Flexi, Jackson Joker.
Oh, there you go, Jackson Joker.
So here's some of the Jackson Joker discography. So Tatsu's now formed his own absolutely bluesy rock, LA, hair metal, whatever you want to call it, bands, and they do it perfectly. But this is like Tatsu's a completely different person now. Although I got to tell you, with his debut, the self-titled, there's still lots of remnants of the Gastunk mojo left in him. But the song titles are now like Texas Winter, Stray Dog Blues. It has a little bit of a different vibe. And it's really cool. There's kind of like this really slow, jazzy, clean guitar he does on a song like Just Like a Woman on this. So this is their last release.
Okay.
And I love the title of this. It's Inside Outlaw.
No.
And I just think that's a cool title. This was the first Jackson Joker anything I heard, and it's really, really good. Tatsu's changing, though, and he's never going to be Gastunk Tatsu again until Gastunk kind of reforms.
Right.
But he's ready to move on, and you can kind of get a sense of the vibe of Jackson Joker.
It's like Virgin Rocks, which was probably before. It just like it's punks suddenly becoming like LA, hair metal.
You're right. Yeah, the Comes just transitioned into that seamlessly, right? And the same with Tatsu kind of here. But I think he was ready to do this. They went to LA and everyone kind of came back different. But I would highly recommend checking out Jackson Joker. I think they have a few phenomenal tracks. And whether you're into this or not, they're doing it exceptionally well. And the Inside Outlaw is pretty cool, though. This is quite a nice...
I've only heard the Flexi, actually. That's all. But, yeah.
Oh, and the Flexi's great. By the way, Jackson Joker might be my least favorite name for a band ever.
It's pretty bad, right?
It's a really rough name. It's like unusable. So sorry, Jackson Joker. I don't know if they would have been more popular with a better name, but it's not. No. It's not great. So let's talk about. You're okay with me leading?
Go ahead. Go ahead.
So let's talk about where Matsumura ends up. So Matsumura, right? We think we're not going to talk about him anymore.
I thought so. I thought he was dead.
Right, I know. So he's in the Comes, and No Side is a masterpiece. He's on Gastunk's Dead Song and all of the '86 stuff. It's all masterpieces. Yeah. But then he's in The Wretched.
Yes, and yes. Like I hope there are people out there who have not heard about this band, but maybe by now most people have. Amazing. Sorry, Greg, got a little bit excited.
No, that's okay. The album art is, or whatever, the demo tape art is outstanding. Just like I love this. So Matsumura has a knack for joining up with his old buddies from the Comes. So this is the vocalist from the Comes, Chitose, with Eddie Van Coyde was his stage name, and I love that, on guitar. And then Matsumura's on drums. And so this particular demo is called Too Fast to Die. And I got to tell you, because this is really bizarre, I saw the Subhumans in like 2001. And some guy handed me a zine for free. And this was one of the things reviewed in it. What? So, and I remember reading this thinking, this looks cool. The Wretched, Too Fast to Die, this sounds cool. And then years later, as I was getting into Japanese punk and hardcore and whatnot, I returned to like see this and I was like, what is this? And how did this guy get this? I still don't have that answer, but I saw this super early on and it's really intense, like heavy metal, thrash, slow. All the songs are 6 minutes or so. And Matsumura does a solid job drumming. And there's a lot of very hypnotic guitar playing, and Chitose sounds great. She's no longer like the Comes Chitose anymore.
I know, man.
But she did the Virgin Rocks things and then went on to this.
I'll take the Wretched over Virgin Rocks any day.
Yeah. But these are two cool pieces of history, and it's cool to see Matsumura still doing stuff. And it's interesting, at the end of the end, some guy comes on stage and Baki gives him like a piggyback ride, or he gives Baki a piggyback ride. That's Matsumura. So he's at the final Gastunk show in '88, even though Pazz is, of course, playing drums. Right. And that leads us to something that I know will excite you, Mike, and that is Quartergate.
Yes! Here we go.
So those demos were from 1991. This is January 1992. That's where we are now. And Quartergate is
basically with Doom as his backing band.
It is, yeah. And so Pazz is in Doom and it is on this. Yeah. So it's half Gastunk, half Doom, but it's really all.
Interesting thing about this record album, it was recorded in the same and released in the same year as Doom's Illegal Soul record album. And it's this and Illegal Soul are the only two releases on Alzheimer, which was Doom's own label. And it's almost like they recorded these at the same time. Because that Doom album is also way more like hard rocking. There's more like hard rock on that record than any of their previous records. And it's really similar sounding musically to that Doom record, Illegal Soul, which I love Illegal Soul, and I love this. Sato from HG Fact sent me this through the mail from Japan to England. I was not in a good place at that time, and I was like having trouble with listening to a lot of hardcore. And
like in 1992.
Yeah. I got it when it came out. So it's like, he was like, Baki from Gastunk has this new band. Here's the CD. Please listen, kind of thing. I was like, it was perfect for me. It's like, it's what we were trying to describe before. It's kind of Baki doing his like hard rock, alternative rock, grunge, but not really, because you've got Doom, like, right? And the music's incredibly like freaking complex.
It is so complex and hypnotic, and there's always something that you can't get bored for 1 second with this. There's always something going on, man.
Quartergate, man, one and done.
Yeah, one and done.
I'm just wondering how that worked out. I'm just like if like Pazz was like, hey man, we're in the studio doing a new Doom record, like we've got some other material hanging around, like why don't you come in and like, well, we could probably get another album's worth of stuff from.
It must have been that.
It really does sound like that,
because they're all still friends. It's worth mentioning, because we're going to mention him a little bit later, the bassist for Doom/Quartergate, Komurota, is a legend. And so at this point, Baki's played with basically all of the best bass players in the scene. So he had all of Baby with Gastunk, obviously, but Taiji from X was on Inner Gates, and now he's got Komurota in Quartergate. So it's really like the full motley crew of every elite musician. Baki's slowly, and Baki's sort of the ultimate vocalist for, I don't know what you want to just call rock music, because he can fit into anything. And this is another good example of that. So Quartergate, definitely.
I love this album, man. I don't know how well it'll go down with like hardcore punks, but man, it's so good. So good.
So this brings us to Baki's next release, Korosei.
On HG Fact?
Yes, HG Fact #1.
Right? Isn't this insane? I told you, like, there was that connection there right from the beginning. It's incredible, man. Really.
So this is a 2-song single. With the A side is Korosei and the B side is Yume Samete. And Korosei is where we're really starting to get into that like bluesy alternate rock, very vampy, things keep spiraling, dirty sound. And it's very good,
Mm.
and he does a great job with it. This opens up, so I might as well show you. Kind of a cool piece with his eyes. Like, I feel like the whole thing's very iconic. So I need to give it up to the B-side, though, because this is Baki's best ballad, and this is what the Yoshiki track probably wanted to be, what was not. This is Yume Samete, and Baki sings and plays harmonica, while Aki Kubota plays piano, and she does backup vocals as well. And this is the most mystical, magical sound of Baki forever. And so you have these do have quite a bit of a different sound. The CD reissue from, like, I don't know, 15 years later or whatever, and the original vinyl from July 1992. And just, I wanted to show this for 2 seconds. That musician, Aki Kubota, she had a solo album from a couple of years earlier, and it is beautiful, strange, chilling, powerful. And I think this is one of Baki's finest works. Korose, the A-side, is great, but that B-side to me is just as perfect as anything he could do with a soft song. And this is also the first time he played with Masataka Fujikake, a drummer who he played with forever on everything from here on out, basically.
Greg, I love how, like, you know, Sato-san has, you know, he's got this new label. He's been working in the music industry. He worked for Fool's Mate, and he's been dealing with, like, X and these other big bands. And he's like, yeah, I'm going to have this new label, and my first release is going to be this, like, Baki, like, solo 7-inch. And I'm wondering, like, what his vision for the label was at that time, because it pretty quickly went into something different. It went to, like, a, you know, a DIY, like, hardcore punk record.
Right.
But at this stage, he's still kind of like, it's kind of like he's thinking big. So, you know, I'm going to launch my label with, like, sort of, you know, this massive artist as my, you know, first release. And then, like, and, you know, he did Doom stuff as well, like Coco Bat and names, but, like, you know,
there's no way he could have known what was coming.
No,
I don't think he thought HG Fact was going to blow up the way that it did.
But it went in a just sort of different, more like DIY, like hardcore punk label, right? Whereas that's, like, still, like, 1 foot in, like, you know, rocking FX, the old Gastunk kind of.
I feel like he probably thought he couldn't go wrong with having Baki.
Right.
And, you know, think about it, like, it's only been about 3 years, 4 years since Gastunk broke up, and already there's all these really big releases.
Probably in those days, that was like 3 years was a long time, though, like, back then. You know what I mean? It's like,
yeah, I guess when you think about how much changed from 85 to 88 in Gastunk's time. So after this comes Tatsu's first solo release, which is Rock Love.
Okay, now I'm in uncharted waters again.
The mini CD single of Cowboy. So this thing on my door is a Rock Love poster, because I'm Tatsu crazed and want to see that every day of my life, obviously. So I knew about this for so long before I could track it down when I was younger. I just had no idea how to do that, and this never showed up anywhere until I finally just, you know, became an adult and bought it from Japan. But for a long time, and it's like nothing. This is a very cheap release. So Tatsu's first solo release, and it has a few guest singers on it, like Toshi from X is on this for a second, but for the most part, it's Tatsu singing and playing guitar, and it's kind of like bluesier rock, a little singer-songwritery, but still hard rock, alternative rock. It's not Gastunk, not Jackson Joker. I love the art. It's really beautiful. And just kind of, you're getting a sense of, like, the new Tatsu who is here. And for anyone listening who wants to check this out, I would recommend track 2, Scorpion, which I think is flawless, and track 7, She Is, which is lovely. I don't know if this is on YouTube or anything, but this is not hard to get in today's world.
I'm on it.
But Tatsu's Rock Love, 1992. Which leads us to 1993, the last time we're going to see Matsumura.
Oh, I'm sad.
I knew what you were going to bring out, and that's a heavy gun.
Actually, no, I wasn't going to bring out anything. But what have you got?
Naoki's solo band, no, with an
exclamation point. Yes.
Yeah. So this is a demo tape. Let's see if I can do this. Featuring Naoki on guitar, 2 members from Final Count on bass and vocals, and then Matsumura on drums. So again, Matsumura joining up with his ex-cum buddies. Naoki and Matsumura were in the Comes together. And this is just like really, really good Naoki-inspired hardcore punk. It's his like really thrashy riffs and a lot of good like stop and start kind of sound. It's quite nice. Yeah,
it's amazing. Like this is one band that's like, man, I wish this band had stayed together and we'd had a proper, you know.
Did you ever see them, or were you around?
No. I mean,
I think they've only played a few shows, and I know this tape is very rare.
I know they played in Osaka, and I have like I have a version of that Habby from like Gloom and Crust War. He had like the original tape, I think, and he made me like a kind of CDR of it.
Oh wow!
Which he kind of tweaked a bit.
But, is there any chance you still have that?
Yeah, I have it. But
oh man, wow, that's cool. But yeah, this is, as far as I know, the last time Matsumura did anything. So it's kind of cool. For maybe like 5 years, he was still hanging around the scene, trying to play in bands. But it kind of stinks because No and The Wretched were both great and did not have a proper release.
I know, right?
No vinyl releases, never went on to anything, but they're both good enough to have done that.
And we're sort of getting all these archival releases of much lesser bands, and I'm like, God, we need The Wretched, we need No.
The Wretched and No, these 2 tapes are really, really good. Yeah. And just, I don't know, kind of like the guys from the 80s trying to still hang out in the 90s.
I also love that like half of No is like just these guys from like Final Count who are like just a flexi disc, like
I know,
huge mohawk, like you know, B grade, like Japanese. I love that. It's like
funny, yeah.
Final Count.
And you know, it's also Naoki's farewell. I don't believe he did anything after this, which is bizarre considering how legendary he was with Lip Cream, that he would never have played again with anything. But I believe it was LOX, No, and then that was it.
Okay.
Yeah. So you know where we are.
I think so.
We're in December 1993.
There we go.
Yay.
You'll hate me. I like this better than
How could I hate you?
Because you know, it's like a total contradiction. We don't want bluesy hard rock in Gastunk, but we want bluesy hard rock with Baki like belting it out.
You want to talk about impossible to explain the genre?
No, it's kind of similar to Quartergate, but with less progressive music behind it.
Yeah, it's softer, but also some tracks are kind of fucking nuts, actually.
Yeah,
like,
right.
Speed is like a little too crazy,
right?
So I think this is some of my favorite visual art for Baki. The booklet, the imagery, the photography. I think I showed you. I have a huge poster of this downstairs. I love this moment in Baki's career.
It's God's Garden, by the way, for anyone who can't see. It's God's Garden.
So God's Garden. It's his second solo album, and you don't get a third for a really long time. But so this year is 4 years after Inner Gates, and this has a Pata from X. So he's just going through every X member. It's got Minato from Dead End.
I know. I just find this like really easy listening. It's not really the correct, but it's just easy. It's like I don't know, man. It's like that hard rock, alt rock. Dare I say grunge?
Yeah, that's a word we haven't used yet, but it's the 90s. Baki's trying to do grunge.
It's the 90s, Greg. It's the 90s, you know. So that's what's going on. I love Maria, like the power.
Yay! That was one of the 2. So every
way
track
that he says that he needs Maria's love, it's like really like.
Oh man! You know what?
Come on.
In preparing for this today. I felt like there was nothing left I could do because it was just I've almost gone like tone deaf to all things Gastunk at this point. But this was the last thing I listened to, and Maria is great. It's a perfect Baki track, I think. But my favorite track on this
Mm.
is track 5, which is called 9.
9. Yeah.
The track 9, which is 5,
Yes.
to me is probably a top 5 Baki song for me. It is so interesting because it's got this really rough, awful production for the first half of it where he's really scratchy. The music is really distant. Then he becomes clear, loud. The music all comes together, like backup vocalists come in. It's a really interesting format for how it goes from 0 to 100. And this isn't that hard to get. It's definitely worth having in your
in
Baki.
Japan, yeah. So
just everything about it, man. I just
come on. To me, I know this and the Quarter Gate kind of go together to me, but
they're very close chronologically too.
Yeah.
Quarter Gate is a lot more technical,
yeah,
though,
yeah,
because of Pazz.
Yes, right. Yeah.
But this one, man, Maria and 9, those middle 2 tracks, it's sort of actually a break from the chaos because a lot of this is really fast and disorienting.
Yeah.
So let's talk about just for a second that Gastunk in 1994 gets a best of.
Yes, like curated by Baki, I believe.
I actually don't know.
Okay.
It's BMG, and it's called Heartful Melody. It's still
the one that's curated by Baki. It's his his favorite Gastunk songs.
Okay.
Apparently.
Well, I actually didn't know that. That's interesting. I think I was kind of wondering who was in charge of this. But it's got a good mix of songs. I mean, it's whatever. It exists. That's all.
Yeah.
It's nice to have a greatest hits. I guess there was still a demand for Gastunk, obviously.
Yeah,
I'm sure fans were still like, what happened?
Yeah.
So that was 1994, and unless I'm missing something, no one did anything in 94, 95, or 96.
Okay.
But in 97, a lot of things happened. So,
really?
Tatsu's in a band called The Ice Cream with this CD called Cream. And it's really cool. This is like pure alternative rock as a female vocalist.
Okay. Wow.
And like nothing Tatsu's done at all. I know Tatsu had a pretty decent hiatus from music at this point, but this was like something that did come out. And if you can somehow hear this, I mean, it shouldn't be that hard to get. The track 4 called Darling is a really slow, beautiful ballad where Tatsu's good in it, but it's really like a fretless bass with a female singer, just kind of wonderful alternative rock. Tatsu's definitely trying some stuff, and I love the album cover, even from like a mile away. It's just like, looks really cool. And here's an odd thing that my friend and I stumbled onto one day. So we were at my house looking through, I think it was a Fool's Mate from the 90s. And it was like a thing on Gastunk. And it just has it lists every Gastunk release. Like a little picture of it. And we're like glossing over it, like, yeah. And then it showed this.
Oh, what's that?
The highest region, Vibes from Jaja Mountain. So Baby's been in a reggae band and in Japan. And I mean, check this out. It is so cool.
Whoa.
Yeah, so Baby is there.
There he is. Yeah.
And a decent mixture of members from different cultures coming together to play reggae. And it's outstanding. This has a perfect production. It's pure reggae. There's no punk rock or anything of that nature on it. And some really beautiful tracks. Spiritual Ruler is just a lovely reggae tune. Very Steel Pulse. This is like true reggae. This isn't like Baby doing his own like kind of punky inspired reggae. This is this would have sold well with any reggae crew, I think.
Wow.
But yeah, this happened to be just listed in a Fool's Mate as like part of the Gastunk discography, and we were like, Vibes from Jaja Mountain. Cool.
Whoa.
And so So let's talk about these really quickly, and then we'll get to the big thing that happened in 1999.
Yes.
So Baki is in a band now called Number 9.
Okay.
Have you seen this before?
No.
So the band is called Number 9, named after my favorite track from God's Garden.
Yeah.
And so they have album number 1, album number 2, 3, and then a live album. So this is Masataka Fujikake on drums again. This is kind of like his set drummer who he's going to be utilizing for everything. But the first album's really good. It has Komurota from Doom playing bass throughout the whole thing. Wow. So I know I'm telling you now.
Exactly. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
It's like very alternative rock, some static chord playing, but still also some like quality melodic songwriting as well. A nice mix. And this was a pretty big band for Baki.
Really? Wow.
Yeah, I think they played a decent amount. It had having four albums or so is.
Yeah, I was like, Jesus, why did Number 9? Oh.
Yeah, I love it. Really simple design. I always like how the third album looked. I just thought that was a really sharp look. But yeah, Baki's always keeping busy. Well, let's talk about what we really want to talk about. So it's January 1999, and Mike, you know it better than me, so go ahead. Yeah.
Oh, you got two copies.
This is the DVD.
Oh, okay.
And because I'm insane, I also have the VHS.
Nice. Yeah.
So, tell us.
Wow. Yeah, I mean, I guess I'd been living in Japan for a year at this point, and I don't remember like where I saw it advertised, but I remember maybe it was in a record shop with the poster like Time Bomb or something that's like Gastunk reunion shows. Was there only 2?
So, like, small known fact, they played a decent amount in 1999.
But I mean, at this point, though, like,
at this point, they did the one for Masami in 93 or 92.
No, I mean, like in 1999, like to me, this seems like it was like the first like big like reunion.
This was the first one. This was the only real reunion they've had.
Right, exactly.
Right. They played a few songs in a tribute for Masami in like 92, but this is the first time that.
No, I'm just wondering, like on this like tour, because I went to see them in Osaka. This is when I recorded at Akasaka Blitz in Tokyo in 1999. I went to the Osaka show. I don't remember if the Osaka show was before this or after this, but it was like obviously in the same week or around the same time, and it was at Club Quattro in Osaka, the old Club Quattro. My expectations were really, really high. I was like so excited. I remember it being like really, really expensive as well for me at that time. Like I had to like not go out for a couple of weeks, or like really be careful with money. It was like, man, it's like probably like 6,000-7,000 yen, which was a massive amount of money because like most hardcore punk gigs were like 2,000 yen back then. So triple, or more than triple the amount. So I got my ticket. I couldn't wait. I was super excited. Get to the venue, and it's Club Quattro, which is like a super like corporate venue. Waiting outside. It's like all the usual like horrible like stuff you have to go through to get into a corporate venue. And I was like, kind of like, and I was expecting the hall to be like full of like old like first wave punks. It kind of was, but everyone was like wearing, it was like full of like salary men in suits and like
everyone's grown up.
Going after work. It's like which I know I was I'd only been in Japan for a year, so I was kind of like this. I was disappointed. It's like, man, like where's all the punks? It's just I didn't know anyone there. Like I'd made a lot of friends, but I didn't know anybody there. I was like, man, it's Gastunk, dudes. Why isn't anybody here to see this? And anyway, it was phenomenal. The show was phenomenal. I remember being disappointed that Baby was like doing this, he didn't look like how I wanted him to look, and also I didn't know that Baki was going to be bald, which was like, I know this seems very trivial, but at the time it was like what's going on here. But man, you know what I love about this record? We've talked about this song already. This is the best version in my mind, the best version of Mokushiroku.
Knew you were gonna say it. Yep.
The way that Tatsu like stretches out that riff, it's like so hypnotic, and they stretch it out like it's amazing.
There's so much to say about this, and I want to touch on a lot of points that you made, but just to talk about the musicianship here, clearly everyone's really excited to be playing again.
Yeah.
So just to give a summary of this is a live show in January 1999 because Hide, the guitarist from X, had passed away. And this was a tribute for him, which is why I called Rest in Peace. Although I think it's kind of like a play on Gastunk no longer being a band, maybe. Like, I don't know, there might be a couple of things with that. But it's all of the original members, meaning Pazz, the later drummer, but he almost didn't play.
Oh, really?
It was almost Tatsu's friend. And then it was written like that in an issue of Fool's Maid. And then just at the last second, Pazz was like, fuck it, I can make it.
Yes.
So you do get all of the original members on this. And Tatsu's really got an interesting effect on his guitar throughout this. It's a really high level of decay and a really piercing distortion that wasn't present on the old Gaston.
I love it, man. It's amazing. Yeah.
I love this live show. I think some of the songs on this are their best version. If you love Leather Ship, I think this is their best one. And I like the design for the VHS. I thought it had a cool
You're gonna like be like, what? I actually prefer this to the end.
Maybe I'm glad we differ, though. It's cool.
Yeah, maybe it's because I actually went to the show. I went to the Osaka one. This is the Tokyo one, but yeah, it was a really important night for me being able to see them. And even though I was like, then it's like 1999, man, like reunion, man. These guys must be so old.
Like, I know. Right? Now in 2026, they're still going.
It was fucking amazing. The set list's amazing. The sound at the club was the sound on the way the sound is amazing. The performance is amazing.
The production and set list selection is great.
And just going back, Tatsu's guitar tone on this is just fucking phenomenal.
It is, and you can really hear it right off the bat with Mokushiroku.
Yeah.
Let me just comment on a couple of things. So I want to mention two things about Tatsu on this that are interesting, I think. He's kind of like playing on the melody of a lot of some of the solos. And on Revelation, there's a couple of moments where he's almost taking too long to get the parts out. So then the next part, he speeds up because he needs to rush through it. Then it just keeps happening. There's this one part where he like holds out the part in Revelation, but then he has to tap all the remaining notes really fast. And I obsess over these tiny details, obviously, but it's really cool. Another thing that's interesting is Tatsu's guitar. I think he breaks a string. I'm not 100% sure on the Vanishing Signs. So there's no guitar for about a minute in the Vanishing Signs. And it's before he returns. It's actually really cool because you really get to appreciate what Baby's doing with no distraction. And then right before the solo kicks in, where it should be, Tatsu gets a new guitar, starts playing again, and Baki screams like, yes! And it all lines up perfectly. It's a really cool, like, it happened live moment on that version.
They also had, like, another thing that kind of...
You remember that, by the way? I'm saying this as if you weren't there, but...
Well, I was at the Osaka show, so I don't know, like...
You weren't at this recorded version?
No, I was at the Osaka version of this, right, which is not the one that we get. But I mean, the set list is the same.
Right, I realize that, yeah.
And also, like, if you've seen the video, like that, they have that netting. That the net.
Yes, at the beginning before it lifts up.
I was like, what? I was like, oh god! Like, okay, Baby looks like a reggae guy. Baki's bald. Are they gonna have this net the whole time? But they got rid of it right after.
And there goes 7,000 yen. No, okay, wait. So I did want to address that. So yeah, Baby is full Rastafarian. He's changed the way he plays bass. Right, it's very different, and he's a lot closer to the neck.
Right,
as opposed to being closer to the bridge, which is going to change his tone.
Yeah,
not favorably for punk rock, but favorably for reggae.
Right.
And so again, I can't emphasize this enough, but the Baby that you get on the end, even if you prefer Rest in Peace, that is the final time you will hear punk / hardcore / heavy metal Baby.
Right.
And it is him at his best, most skilled, and it's him at his best produced. And it's like, if you listen to the end, you probably, even without me saying this, won't be able to avoid how beautiful the bass is. But don't get me wrong, the performance from Baby on this is still quite great, but you know it's different. That's the only thing.
I mean, you know, I went to this, so it has a kind of special place in my memories for me. But
let me show the. I think it's kind of worth seeing the back. It's like the most epic like version of Baki. Oh my god! Yeah, you can see it a little more clearly on your screen. Looks so cool.
Yeah,
love that. Like evil, but like a sad evil. Perfect. So that happens. They play a few shows, but Gastunk's not getting back together.
No.
But for the first time, oh, actually, I'm skipping something. Excuse me. One more thing. Baki. Sorry, it's after midnight here. Hi, everyone. Baki had a band called Formless Machine. It was just him playing guitar with Masataka Fujikake playing drums and percussion. And this was a CDR that got released in 1999 that has live footage from 1994 and 1996. It's just this CD has actually like faded with time. And it's just this is just like a piece of yellow foil that says Formless Machine. There's like nothing in this, but it's like very kind of like droning acoustic music with like interesting percussion, and the songs are incredibly long, like 7 to 10 minutes. Wow. It's very good, but it's not like anything too noteworthy in the grand scheme of Baki's incredible career. I learned through a couple of clues that Angie is the name of Baki's dog at this time. So there's a couple of songs about her. But yeah, it's just kind of like a nice little nugget of what Baki was doing in the mid-90s. But there are no real releases, just this CDR of live footage. But now we're going to get to something odd. Do you have any idea what this is? Skill and a shout it lets out?
Absolutely no idea what it's.
Say that 5 times fast. This is the first time Baki and Baby, excuse me, again, it's late here. Baki and Tatsu played together. This is actually a studio recording of Baki and Tatsu. So this is like a compilation with, and this is going to sound odd, but the American drummer for like Rod Stewart is in Japan and is commissioning different musicians. Every track has someone different. So like you've got Kyoji Yamamoto from, I think, Bow Wow, and a lot of other various musicians. Like everyone has their own track. And there's one with Baki and Tatsu. It's called Good Thing, Bad Thing. And it's beautiful and weird. And this drummer's really good. And I don't know what the hell this thing is, but yeah, it's just a really interesting piece of history. It says Japanese hard rock heavy metal compilation.
Wow.
And yeah, everyone is different, but it does have this one drummer on every track. And the point I wanted to get to with this is Randy Uchida died after Rest in Peace, and Baki and Tatsu played that plus R gig together. And I think kind of maybe this was like picking up where that left off.
Right, gotcha.
They also have another track on Flesh for Flankenstein. We don't need to get too into this. We have lots of
We said we're going deep tonight. Deeper than that.
Hey, if you guys are still here, we're having fun, right? So Baki has another band called 13 Ounces, which has a handful of releases. Are you familiar with this at all? 13 Ounce. Let me show each one individually. So this has 2 drummers, oddly enough. This is Minato from Dead End with, again, Masataka Fujikake from Well Everything Baki's doing now. And yeah, just again, not much to say. It's more of his like alternative rock and just kind of like, you know, groovy Baki thing that he does, which leads me to some of this. So Baby had a bunch of CDR releases in the early 2000s. Booster Basie, The Highest Region, and Yaz I. These are all like undocumented.
Oh, okay.
Like this Booster Basie CDR is some of Baby's best reggae for himself. This is just his solo release, but this is not even indexed on the internet anymore. So
wow,
but it's pretty cool. Some tracks: Sensimilia, MRJ, Cannabis Cultivator, Ganja, Dope, Thanks to Business. You get a feel for it. But it says recorded in 2003, and it's just really good baby reggae, worth mentioning.
baby
that
reggae
exists in our extensive.
Not baby metal, baby reggae.
Yes. Oh my God. Another video, perhaps. So let's move on to this. This is the Must Baki compilation.
Okay.
This is Baki has selected his best works from everything he's ever put out. So this has a track from Dead Song. It's got a track from Three Sex Xmas. This has a track from Quartergate. He really didn't leave anything out. So if he did something, it is on this. And it has two new unrecorded or never before recorded tracks, Lucky Jackie the Jump and Believe in Power Noise. And it's the alternate rock Baki sound, but it's like the best version.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, these two tracks are really, really good. And the rest of it is just like, you know, all tracks that we already know or are on all these other releases, but they're remastered and sound way better.
Okay.
This has like, he chose from Dead Song Taiji Sad. This has actually has Leather Ship, Red Indians Rock, Moonchild. So a lot of cool stuff on this. So we're moving forward, Mike. We're moving forward. You having fun?
Yeah. I'm a bit out of my depth, but I'm learning. I'm learning a lot. I'm learning a lot tonight.
Tatsu had 1 million releases that we're just going to cover in one fell swoop. This is neat. Tatsu is here. Drop Dead Motherfucker. Tatsu is here. I should show these a little more clearly. Tatsu solo releases. This is 51% motherfucker, 49% son of a bitch. Somebody Kill Me.
Wow.
And the one I actually want to talk about, so these are all like Tatsu singing and playing guitar.
Okay.
Punktronic number 1.
Oh, that looks interesting.
This is actually the one that if I was going to pick one to talk about. The music on this is really good. It's really creative. Tatsu's going in and out of 1 million different styles. There's a lot of like industrial electronic stuff, whatever. But Drizzle of Action is the closest thing you're ever going to get to Sedation. It's acoustic guitar, beautiful. And songs like Candy and Black Sun are quite nice. This is, you know, obviously for the diehards. Like I told you before we started this, we're going to spend 20 seconds on some of them. So, okay, now we're talking about something that's actually some meat and potatoes, Dead Man's Face.
Oh,
do you know this?
No.
So this is Gastunk's first re-recording.
Yeah, right.
This is when is this? 2010, June 2010. So Gastunk first release in 20 years. About. It sounds like Gastunk. Everything is awesome. Remember when I said like Gastunk has a sound? This is like the sound of Gastunk. There are 3 songs on this: Dead Man's Face, Cold Blood, and No More Trouble. The first 2 tracks are like could have been on Mother.
Okay.
And the third track is a reggae track where it's obviously Baby like inspired. You have to hear it to believe it. It's good though. I quite like this, and I think in particular Cold Blood is an ace Gastunk song, truly. Okay, just a few more things. Let's see. This is a CD live at Loft that also has a cassette.
Wow.
Some just strange middle of time Gastunk release. Baby's reggae band Rebel Tribe, Survival in a Babylon, and there's a track on this, Fall in Love. I think it's phenomenal. I listen to this song a lot, actually. This particular track, Fall in Love, super cool release. So where are we right now? I'm trying to think. This is 2009, so I went out of order with that. You'll have to forgive me. All right, so this is Baki's third solo album. Took forever. It's called Lemonade.
Lemonade.
Yeah, so this is 2017. It's just Baki and his guitar singing, and it's beautiful. It's really nice Baki acoustic songs, great songwriting, very clever and emotional. He doesn't have anything quite like this. This is a pretty unique release to be just him and so stripped down. So I think I might mention here that I saw Gastunk in 2019. I went to Japan, and they were having a show at Club Chita in Kawasaki. And I did get the set list. I know it's a pretty fancy one, so I do get to share that with you guys. So as you can kind of see here, they played through Dead Song in order.
Yeah.
Show. The first 9 songs are just chronologically Dead Song. And then you get a little taste of some other stuff on the side. And you can see they did play a track over here, Dead Man's Face.
They played Shout too.
What?
They played Shout as well.
Yes, look, Devil, Sex, and Shout in order.
And then Leather Ship? Wow.
Yeah, Leather Ship and Smash the Wall in order before they played. You know what's interesting? They did Mr. Gajime in the Fire, but then interrupted the flow to do these two, and I thought we weren't getting Birth of Stars, and then that was the so it was kind of cool.
That's a crazy encore there. Wow.
This is like super see-through, but you can every member signed it on the back.
Wow.
And the reason I bring this up is because that's where I got a lot of these strange releases at their merch table. So, for example, the Lemonade was for sale there, as was Baby's new thing, which is Ra's Baby Hero, which actually has vinyl releases. We haven't held up a vinyl in a long time. So he has a 10-inch called Wicked Babylon.
Wow.
And some records where he like hand drew stuff on the cover. So it's kind of like a little Dead Song. You've signed it Gastunk Baby. So yeah.
Wow.
Satanic Music and Hypocrites are the name of these. It's like baby styled reggae. So it's got like a little punk edge, a little bizarre. I say this as if anyone listening to this knows what I'm talking about, but like baby reggae is like kinda some of it. It's just like really cool and weird. And so yeah, that was hanging out at the merch table. So I picked those up. And I know you had said you have never heard these, so we'll do them. They released a new album, the 4th album.
They did.
Do you have this? Have you ever heard it? Still no, not yet.
I might have like sampled a track or two when it came out and was like, yeah. But that was when did that come out? 2000.
So this is June 2001.
Okay, yeah, okay, yeah.
So Pazz left the band, and so they got Kay on drums, who was Tatsu's drummer with the Dead Rocks. And so I have a few thoughts on this that I'll share because we're kind of wrapping up now, right? We're nearing the end. We're in 2021. We made it. This is a great album and probably their best mix that they had. Everything sounds great. And any problem that you had with any of their previous releases is kind of solved here. Sonically, it's very every member really shines nicely. There's a song on this called Dragon, which was actually created in '87 with Pazz. This was like an old Gastunk song that never made it, but was played live a little bit. My one problem with this is this just goes on a little too long. So all of the other Gastunk releases are about 8 tracks, and this one is 14. And I would shave like 3 off toward the end, and it would be really good, like really tighter, I think. But this is a worthy listen. So just a couple of thoughts. The 5th track, Summer Rain, is like good old Gastunk. You know, if you like Gastunk, you'll like that track. And Bloody Warzone could have been on Dead Song. That's really like original Gastunk, but obviously they're older and it's better produced. But I like it a lot. And again, Baby drew the cover. This is another one of his. This is like a colored pencil illustration, but super cool. And everyone's great. Tatsu sounds great. Baki sounds great. Which brings us to Baki left the band.
Yes.
You know this?
Actually, I saw a video the other day. It's actually pretty good. Like Tatsu was singing and playing guitar. It was actually really good.
But Baki left and they went on without him. So and Kei left too. So they got a new drummer. So it's Modokatsu from the Mad Capsule Markets is on drums now. So it's with Baby and Tatsu. That's a 3-piece. And they released an album. It's called The Greatest Swell. More Baby artwork on it. And I got to tell you, this sounds like fan fiction I would have created when I was a teenager, because if you would have told me Baby and Tatsu share an album where they split songwriting and singing duties, that sounds like something I would have made up. Like, wouldn't that be cool? And it is. It's interesting. It's really, this is not a Gastunk release anymore. Let's not kid ourselves. Like, it has the name on it, but this is something entirely different. Baby's songs are very slow and reggae-like. Tatsu songs are very kind of like alternative pop rock. This 3rd track, Shine On, is very good. It's Tatsu's song, very just like very upbeat, good alternative rock. The opening track, The Greatest Swell, is an instrumental where Tatsu really shows off. Each one of them lists the key and the BPM, which is the beats per minute. I never saw that in my life on anything, but I love it. As obviously a huge music nerd. And I have one more thing here. That's it. It's an acrylic stand of Baki and Mori from Dead End, because they're in a band called Godland now.
Wow.
And Godland is releasing their first album in like 4 days, coincidentally. So this is a little plug for that. And I saw this and just couldn't resist it, because obviously I'm insane. So that is basically everything.
I have one thing.
I bet I know what it is. We skipped it.
That's okay. I only have. I think this band is amazing.
Mosquito Spiral.
Yeah. This is their Marbles album from whenever this came out. Man, I mean, this band started as a damned cover band and then started making their own music. It's Baki on vocals. It's old school guys from the Willard and the Pogo. This is fucking amazing. It's like,
I forgot to take that out.
Like, I haven't heard any of the other Mosquito Spiral albums. The word on the street is that this is like the best one. It's just like fucking amazing punk, melodic punk played by like masters at the game. Super melodic, super tuneful, bit dark. It's phenomenal. I'd love to see this released on vinyl. I think this is fucking, the artwork kind of sucks. This is also expensive.
I know it does.
It's expensive as well. It's like you can't find it.
They are. It's sort of like Baki's alternative rock, but it's all melodic and everything has a nice flow to it. There is no like bluesy vamp anymore.
Yeah, to me it just sounds like kind of like like late era, not the gothic era of the Damned, but like the post-gothic era of the Damned. Like, it's just fucking amazing. It's like these guys are masters at like writing fucking I mean, I forget who's in the band, but it's guys from like the Willard and stuff. And
I forget about this a lot, which is why I didn't even remember to bring them out.
This is like, but
this,
you know, I got a chance to show something.
You know why? Because that name Mosquito Spiral is so odd that I sometimes forget about it.
Yeah.
And it's not indicative of kind of what you're in for. And I forgot that members of the Willard are in this.
Yeah, it's like all these old school dudes.
Oh,
and like I said, it was like originally they just got together to play Damned songs and then realized they had something going, so started writing their own material. And it's like, yeah, it's really like Damned, like kind of Damned influence, obviously. But yeah, this is kind of a classic. I mean, when I got this, I was kind of blown away how amazing it is. And that's going to be the last thing we show, I guess. Man,
that was it.
I think we should.
Oh my God. So, well, you know what? You know what though? This was for the diehards, and this is a. If you wanted every Gastunk everything, basically, it is here, even down to a little Tatsu figure. We got it all. We got it all.
It was a great ride. I'd said at the beginning we're going to go deep. Maybe we went deeper than even I was expecting that we would go. But man, I did learn a lot of, like, especially about like the Baki stuff that I didn't know, like Number 9 and like the Tatsu stuff and lots of other stuff. I learned a lot, as always. Greg, I have an idea. You know what? There's only one thing I don't like about this video is that when you asked me what my favorite punk bass player was, I said the guy from RKL, and I'm like, I want to edit that part out, but never mind. Greg, play us out with a little bit of that song. Can you do that?
All right, let's.
No, play us out with the intro to that song, and I'll just say goodbye to everyone who's been brave enough to make it to the 3 hour. If you make it to the 3 hour mark, we'll know who's watched this the whole way through, because they'll be like, man, there we go. Watch everyone. Watching this. We enjoyed making it. Thanks, Greg. That was.
Take care, guys.
There you go. Thanks, everyone. Take it easy. Take care. Listen to check out all of the stuff that we've recommended for you to listen to tonight. There's a lot to dig into, and I think if you are a hardcore Gastunk fan, maybe you already know like a lot of the stuff that Greg has shown, but and also revisit some of the stuff that maybe you've like been. Yeah,
you think you know these albums, you really don't. Like, I hadn't listened to this in a little while, but in preparation for this, I was like, man, you know, there's so much here. Absolutely, it's all worth a revisit for sure.
That was our little tribute to one of the best to ever do it. Until next time, take it easy. We'll see you soon. Cheers.